What up, Homedawgs? My name is Gokey Gamer, and welcome one and all to the Milwaukee Medichams PPL NX movie. Now, I'm sure many of you watching this are wondering one of two things. The first thing is, what the heck is a PPL NX movie? And the other thing is, wait, you were in the PPL NX? So, long story short, the PPL NX is a 3-stage, 48-coach tournament run by the head of the PPL Draft League, Amber, aka Gravy. The first two stages are essentially qualifying rounds, where the coaches break off into 4 divisions of 12, draft out of a single pool of Pokemon, and then have 5 games to try and earn as many points as possible battling people within your division. Then, depending on the results of your games, the 4 divisions combine and you're put into either the Gold, Silver, or Bronze tiers for playoffs. If you win most of your games, you're put in Gold, Silver is the middle of the pack, and Bronze are for those who unfortunately didn't win as much. After that, it's essentially playoffs until somebody wins the stage for each division, also earning more points per win. The first stage is a no-Terra stage, and stage 2 is a low-tier Terra stage. After both stages have passed, the 16 coaches with the most points make their way to stage 3, a mid-tier Terra stage, and they compete in the final hurdle to become the ultimate champion of the tournament. So, how do I fit in all this? After all, this has been going on since the beginning of the year. Well, your boy was actually asked to be a replacement coach during the last week of the group section of Stage 1. I was actually offered multiple teams that I could take over, and since it was performance week, I decided to take the only one that had already completed all their group games, which conveniently also was the team that I was the most interested in. Unfortunately, this team had also gone 0-5, so it definitely wasn't the most ideal start. I also ended up losing in the quarterfinals of the playoff section of Stage 1 to none other than Ellie. Perhaps those videos will be released one day. But hey, perhaps I can make a comeback with my second draft in Stage 2. Since counter drafting is a thing in this type of format, for Stage 2 I decided to draft a team that could wall almost every team fairly reliably. And that type of team is none other than a Regen Core. Overall, I was super excited to have fun with this team, as I'd always been somewhat interested in drafting Regen Core. I do wish Pokemon like Hydrapple, Mienshao, and Hoopa and Bound would have been allowed to Terra, but well, I'm still very excited to see what this team can do. Also, something to keep in mind, while you can bring whatever Terra type you want on your Terramons, and you can bring as many of your lower tier Pokemon as you want, you have to tell your opponent what Terra type you bring, and you can only choose your Terra between 2 Pokemon per battle. So for example, if I brought Jolteon, Alomomola, and Cloth to a game, and I told my opponent that my Terra types were Terra Ice, Jolteon, and Terra Rock Cloth, then Alomomola would not be allowed to Terra in that game. All 5 of the group games are going to be in this video, hence the length. When each of the games starts, I'll display the matchup that the coach will be going up against on screen. The links to my opponent's channels and videos will be linked down in the description below, alongside the full details of each team I brought to each game. The order of the Draft League battles are going to be in an upload order, so for example, the opponent that I actually ended up battling last is going to be the first match of this video, since that's what the original upload schedule would have been. I hope that this all makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. Before jumping into the first game, I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to the moderators of this tournament for doing an absolutely stellar job at running a near 50-person tournament, as well as a massive thank you to Amber for inviting me to take part in this. I also wanted to give a major shout out to Glitchx City for the music used in this video. Her channel and the playlist I used will be linked down in the description below alongside Amber's channel. And finally, I wanted to apologize for being late with this upload, as this last month of work has been particularly busy. Without any further ado though, go ahead and sit back, get some popcorn, listen to this in the background as you work or fall asleep, and enjoy the movie. Alright, so this is actually the very last battle that I am doing in this league. I apologize in advance, I am feeling a little bit under the weather. I'm feeling better than I was in previous days, but I am still feeling a bit under the weather right now. I think my Game 4 game, I believe, I was feeling a bit worse, so, but I will go ahead and keep my voice a little bit lower. I also apologize if I have to take a breath or two in between, all that fun stuff. I'm sure I explained it a bit more in the intro. I apologize, but yes, so this is not going to be heavily edited, this is going to be more just chill, all that fun stuff, and yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to this, and yes, I also am the most familiar with this team that I will be throughout the rest of this, just because this is my last game, but that's besides the point. We're going to see Thorns, we're going to see Urshi, we're going to see Pult, we're going to see Ogerpon, we're going to see Speed, and we're going to see Mandy. Okay. So, let's see, Sandslash 1 Cologne not being here is not surprising. I'm glad not to see Sylveon. Also glad not to see the Tentacruel or the Iron Crown as well. Very, very interesting indeed. Now, I could go Jolteon here as a lead. I kind of like that, but I don't think I do that here because Dio Speed is a thing. In fact, yes, I definitely don't do that because Dio Speed is a thing. Deoxys Speed is probably going to be the lead if I had to guess. Let's see, I don't think Jolteon has Protect, unfortunately. I don't think I put Protect on it. I did not, so I think I kind of am tempted to lead Purple Rain. I think Purple Rain's a really good lead against everything that's not Thorns, and if Thorns is the lead, then I guess that could be a problem. So maybe I lead Hawkeye? I could lead Hawkeye, I could lead Prince. No, I don't lead Prince here. Let's see here. Let me see. Hoopa Unbound versus Deoxys Speed. Let's see. Deoxys Speed. Superpower is 44 to 52%. If you're adamant, yeah, okay, so that's fine. I think I'm going to lead Fizz here. I think Fizz is a really good lead. It'll nuke something off rip and just do a lot of damage on something, and that's very nice. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. Let's freaking do this. This is going to be a very interesting game. I would love to see a cloth sweep here, but I doubt that's going to happen. I think it'd be very funny, but I don't think it's going to happen. So it'll be like that. But, you know, a guy can dream. A guy can dream, indeed, yes. But, yeah, so... we're gonna see, oh, that's a cute card, heck yeah, alright, but, we're gonna see, hopefully, I mean, I'm okay with a Thorns lead, honestly, just to nuke it. We're gonna see Precious, which is going to be the Ogre Pawn, actually, so we do have to be the Ogre Pawn, guaranteed. Let me see here, Ogre Pawn, Hearth Flame, Psychic does do a lot of damage to it, same with the size Shock. I'm kind of tempted to go for it here. But literally any attack can just nuke me off the face of the earth. So I think what I'm going to do here, unfortunately, I do think I have to go into Torn. We're going to take a lot of damage from an Ivy Cudgel, but that's fine. I'm just going to go into Torn. I think that's just my best lead here, unfortunately. We could see a Trailblaze, but if we do, that's fine. I can go for a Bleak Wind or even a Sludge Wave. We're going to see a hard swap, actually, which is very interesting. I was not expecting the hard swap there, so maybe they might be thinking I'm Scarfed. We're going to see Mandy come in. Very, very interesting here. Let's see. Unfortunately, I don't have my Heat Wave on this Mon. Let's see. Manda Buzz. We do deal a decent chunk of damage with the Bleak Wind, but not a lot to really cause damage here. So Terra Steel is definitely going to be the hardest Pokemon to deal with at this point. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm scared of a Toxic, so I think what I'm going to do here, I think I will just click U-turn. If we can burn the Terra, that's great. We're not going to burn the Terra, which does make sense. We're also not going to see Rocky Helmet, so that's good to know. They also don't know that I'm not Boots, which I probably should have been in this game, but you know what, that's besides the point. I'm going to go into Prince now every single time, just because I can and I want to. We could see the Terra Steel button here, which would make sense. Although, yeah, no, they wouldn't click that here. So we're just going to see a U-turn. That's fine. Nothing really wants to switch in on this reliably aside from Deoxys, and I could easily switch in the Hoopa against the Deoxys. So they can't reliably go for a Psychic type attack, which is very good to know. If Ogre comes in, we stay in. We click U-turn. Yeah, so... And even if Deoxys comes in, I am tempted to predict a superpower. We're going to see Precious, which will be the Ogre Pawn coming back in. So let's see, Ogre Pawn, Hearth, Flame. Sludge Bomb does exactly half. Ivy Cudgel's also going to do a lot of damage as well. I think here I'm tempted to go for a U-turn just to help out with momentum. That can also get me Jolteon in for free, and I can Terra Poison it if I really want to. I think I'm going to go for a U-turn here. I think that's my best play to make. Also, in case they go for a U-turn as well, we can predict that and play from there. So I'm very okay with this. The Deoxys speed is definitely going to be the biggest issue. We're going to see an Ivy Cudgel here straight up. That is fine by me. We are going to get off for a U-turn. We might even get a Poison off too, which would be pretty epic. We don't get the Poison off, unfortunately, but that is fine. So here I could go into Hawkeye, or I can go into Jelly Bean for free. And they have to fear the Terra Poison. So I could do that. And I also really like getting the Flame Orb off. I think that is very valuable here in this game, so I'm very tempted to do that. I don't need Terra Water on Big Meaty Claw quite as much, depending on the situation, but I think here I could go into Hawkeye. Hawkeye's a pretty free switch because I outspeed, and I can just go for a Sludge Wave to possibly poison something, so I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go into Hawkeye, and I'm going to poison something. I can always pivot out eventually later on. I could go for a Bleak Wind here. Bleak Wind here is not, bad at all, and I'm kind of tempted to do that. I think I'd go for a Sludge Wave, actually, on the off chance a Mandibuzz comes in and it gets poisoned, because I really like that chances of that happening. It'll also deal a lot of damage to this thing. They do obviously decide to switch out here, which makes sense. We're probably going to see the Mandibuzz. We do see the Mandibuzz. If we get a poison here, that would be phenomenal in this game. We're going to fire off our Sludge Wave. Bada bing, bada boom. Does a decent chunk of damage. And by a decent chunk, I mean nothing at all. And now I go for a U-turn every single time. They could go for U-turn themselves. That would make sense. So I think this time I am scared of a Toxic. I don't want a Lomomola to get Toxic here. That would be kind of annoying. So, but then that brings in... I'm trying to figure out... let's see. If a Lomomola gets Toxic, that's rough. I think I'm actually going to go into Purple Rain this time, though, because I don't want the Ogerpon to come in for free as much as I can. So, and the U-turn will punish this thing still. You do see a U-turn here, which is fine by me. It gets heavily chipped by the Rocky Helmets. It's not going to want to be able to switch in that much longer, which is great. It's really going to want to get off and attack sooner rather than later. So, we could see the Ogerpon come in. We are going to see the Ogerpon come in here. So, Ogerpon, I think they're going to think that I have to switch out here. I'm going to go for a flip turn, though. The reason I go for a flip turn here, I should never die to a power whip here, unless they're, like, adamant. And even if they are adamant, I don't even think it KOs. So, yeah, it doesn't even KO. So, I'm going to go for a flip turn here. If they predict a swap, then that puts me in a phenomenal position. So that's what I'm going to do here. We could see we could see a number of things here. We are going to see a raw sword stance though, so that is, I'm very glad we went for the flip turn here. That is fine by me. We're back up at full, and now I can just scare this thing out. I can go into Jolteon here and immediately Terra if I really want to, because if I Terra Poison, it will die, and that is very valuable to me. So I think, and also I do really like getting the chance to not get poisoned. So I could also go into Hawkeye. I don't want to go into Hawkeye though, because the only move that'll KO is a Bleak Wind, and Bleak Wind has a chance to miss, and if we miss and they set Betrayal Blaze, then that's game. So I think I'm going to go into Jelly Bean here, and I'm going to go for the Terra Poison, Terra Blast. I think that's my best play here to make, because again, I don't want them to Trailblaze in my face too many times. So, and I don't want to lose too many Pokemon, and Terra Poison, Terra Blast is going to do a chunk of damage to everything that wants to switch in here. So we are also going to reveal that we are Quick Feet as well. I really like Quick Feet in this game because we outspeed literally everything. I don't think the Deoxys is going to be Scarfed. We do have Shadow Ball for the Dragapult, and we should outspeed that. We are going to be Terra Poison as well. Again, I don't need Terra Water on Cloth here. I do want to scare this thing out. I think that is extremely valuable in this game, and nothing is going to really enjoy tanking this Terra Blast or the incoming Volt Switch as well. So we are going to be doing okay. I'm kind of wanting to get the Iron Thorns to get Terra Electricked. I think that's very valuable in this game, especially since I'm not Volt Absorb Jolteon, so that's still going to do a lot of damage. They probably know that now. They might have thought we were bringing Volt Switch. They do opt to stay in, so we are going to get this attack off on this Ogerpon. They might be going for a quick attack. If they go for quick attack here, it's going to do a decent chunk of damage, but it should never KO me, I imagine. I don't think it will. We get off this Terra Poison, and we are going to see that they just let this thing go down. So Terra Poison Jolteon doing what it needed to in this game. I'm very happy with that. This thing is dead. Wonderful. Ogerpon Heart Flame, big threat, gone. That is amazing for the rest of my team, because we have answers for everything else. Like Urshifu, I have a Lomomola, Mandibuzz, I have, obviously, Pheasantipity. There's a lot of things I can do here that's very free. We're going to see Mecha Gojira, which is going to be obviously this thing. Which is fine by me. We're going to see, is it booster? It is booster, so that's good to know. It's going to be booster attack, I assume, because that's what you always run. Yep, it is going to be booster attack, and they're just going to try and nuke me. And I think, unfortunately, I will have to say goodbye to a Pokemon here, because this thing is just devastating. So I'm going to go for a Volt Switch here. Let's see if we burn the Terra. We don't burn the Terra quite yet, which I am okay with. We fire off a Volt Switch. That's a decent chunk of damage. I think here, unironically, I think I go into Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is going to force, I think it's going to force some things here. And they could be going for the Terra Electric move, but I'm okay with Hawkeye going down here, honestly. We are going to see a DD. So now what I definitely do is I have to go for a Bleak Wind here, just to make sure that this thing doesn't set up too much speed. We might still outspeed this thing, I'm not too sure. I'm actually not too sure. Hopefully we land this Bleak Wind if we do, if they do opt to go for it. Hoopa Unbound should always outspeed this thing as well, so that should also be fine. We are going to see the Terra here into Terra Electric, so Mandibuzz can no longer Terra, which is phenomenal for the rest of my team. Not as great for Hoopa, but that's fine. We are going to see that they Terra Electric. Mandibuzz can no longer Terra, like I said earlier, that's fine. So let's see if they outspeed me. They might. They just go for another DD, so they're hoping to outspeed everything. So I really want to land this Bleak Wind here to get this thing, make sure it does not set up speed. We do land the Bleak Wind. I really am hoping for a speed drop. That'd be phenomenal here. We do get the speed drop, which is great. Okay, so now I think what I have to do, I think I just have to keep spamming Bleak Wind. I think that's literally all I can really do here at this point, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I want to make sure that this thing cannot outspeed Jolteon. Let's see here. If I land one more, we're just going to see a Terra Blast. That's fine. Okay, so I can go into my, I can go into Jolteon. I can go into Hoopa. Hoopa should always outspeed. I believe Hoopa should outspeed anyways. Yeah, we should always outspeed with Hoopa. So and that'll reveal that we're Scarfed, obviously, but that's fine. I can get rid of this major threat, so that's exactly what I'm going to do here. And I can go for a Dark Pulse really freely at this point. So we're going to see this thing hit the field. Iron Thorns. Yeah, we always are going to... We should always KO this thing at this range. Well, I guess maybe not. Psychic does a bit more than Dark Pulse. But they would have to go for a Dragon Dance. So they risk... Yeah, they risk a lot here. So I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse here. I think that's my best play. We do go for the Dark Pulse here. Bada bing, bada boom. They do barely live. They just go for Terra Blast. They opt to not get greedy, which is fine. So Hoopa is probably going to go down here, unfortunately, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. That is a major threat out of the way. And now I can just go into Jolteon, and then I can Volt Switch out into Big Meaty Claw. I can also go into a few other things at this point. Jolteon is going to be my win con, obviously, for the rest of this game. Volt Switch should always KO this thing, I'm pretty sure. So let me double check. Yeah, you're in range of a Volt Switch at this point. So I will always go for a Volt Switch every single time. I doubt you save this thing. I want to get as little burn chip as possible. And I'm just going to keep weakening these things down. Jolteon looks phenomenal for the rest of this game. I'm very happy with that. And I'm also very happy I ran this Flame Orb set. So that's very, very nice. They are also thinking about, they do opt to save this thing, which I am very okay with. We're going to get a lot of chip on something here. It could be the Pult. It's going to be the Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is actually going to go down here, which I'm very okay with. The Mandibuzz is gone. Volt Switch, bada bing, bada boom. It's actually not gone. Never mind. But now I can just freely go into Pheasantipity. I can go into Pheasantipity very reliably here and get my HP back up. Or I can even go for a U-turn and U-turn back into my other Mon, which I think is what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to U-turn back into Jolteon because I really want Mandibuzz gone. So I'm going to go for a U-turn here. They do let Mandibuzz go down here, which does make sense. And now I go back into Jolteon. Jolteon can just force momentum in my favor, which is always very nice. The Dragapult is going to be a bit annoying because we can't one-shot it, unfortunately. I could also go Big Meaty Claw. That could be kind of entertaining, I won't lie. But, let's see, Big Meaty Claw, do I naturally outspeed the Thorns? I don't outspeed Thorns if it's max speed, and I don't want it to deal too much damage to me, because if it's Terra Electric, Terra Blast, that's going to do 56 to 66%. Earthquake actually always does more. So, and it's in range of a Trailblaze, so I think, honestly, Big Meaty Claw could be kind of entertaining here, and by entertaining, I mean literally entertaining. I think, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna go into Big Meaty Claw, actually. Let's have some fun, let's go into Big Meaty Claw. Let's go into Big Meaty Claw, because Iron Thorn should never be able to KO me at this point, and we should be fine. I think we should be fine. So, we're going to go into this thing. They probably weren't expecting this. They were probably expecting Jolteon. They are going to go into Go With The Flow, which is going to be the Urshifu. That is fine. They know I can no longer Terra. Let's see here. Urshifu, Rapid. I'm assuming you always KO me. Oh, yeah, that's always a KO. So now I go into Purple Rain every single time. That's just a free button click for me. My guess is it's going to be Protective Pads or Punching Glove. It's going to be one of the two, I imagine. I don't see why it would be anything else. So we're going to go into Purple Rain for free because we can and we want to. And we're just going to see a U-turn actually, so that's fine. I think here, okay, and they're not Protective Pads. Very interesting. We could see Iron Thorns here. I think if Terra Electric Iron Thorns comes in, I still stay in. Let's see, Thorns, because I just want to make sure that, yeah, it's going to be this thing. So I think they're going to try to pick up another KO versus me. Let's see here, Electric. And if you're Terra Electric, Terra Blast should never KO me anyways. I think here I just go for a Scald. I could go for a Flip Turn. You know what? No, I am going to go for a Flip Turn, actually, because I always outspeed with Jolteon. We're going to see a Terra Blast here. That's fine. We should never die to this thing, which is great. We are going to take a lot of damage, but we should never die. Nope, we never die because a Lomomola is just that bulky. Iron Thorns has gone down to a Lomomola. Imagine that. That's kind of a crazy statement, I ain't gonna lie. Alright, so yeah, this thing goes down. That's great. I think now I can just freely go Jolteon, and I can click either Shadow Ball or Volt Switch, whatever I want to do, basically. I can also go back into Big Meaty Claw, but that again brings in Urshifu, and I don't really want to do that. Pheasantipity brings in Deoxys, so I think Jolteon is the best play here, because then I can chip something down. We don't, let's see here, I do still kind of like Pheasantipity in this game, although it's going to be a lot harder for us to get the Roost off, so it's going to be harder for us to become useful later on. I don't think Pheasantipity it does have enough speed to outspeed Urshifu, so I can recover on the Urshifu. We're going to see Sebastian come in, which is going to be the Pult, which does make sense. So Jolteon versus Dragapult. 75 to 89%. After a Volt Switch, I will KO you, so that is great news for me. I'm just going to go for a Volt Switch, just because I can and I want to. Bada bing, bada boom. Volt Switch, we KO next turn with a Shadow Ball. I think here, let's see here. I need to think about this for a second. I need a Lomomola for Urshifu 100% of the time. Let's see here, especially because Urshifu can never win against that Mon. I don't need Pheasantipity in this game. They could be going for a U-turn, which would make sense. That would bring in Deoxys speed. I'm okay with that, though. I think at this point I do bring in my Pheasantipity. I think that's my best play here. So unfortunately we might lose this thing. Oh, we don't lose this thing, actually. That's amazing. So I think now I just click Roost. I think Roost is a very free button click, or even U-turn. Honestly, I could click U-turn at this point, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to click U-turn. It's going to do a lot of damage to Deoxys. It's going to do a lot of damage in general. We could get a Toxic Chain off as well. We could see the Deoxys speed come in. We're going to see Dynamune come in. That's going to be the Dio speed. That's great. I can just U-turn into my Jolteon. Jolteon should always outspeed because I should have calced that. Deoxys speed, offensive. We do always outspeed a max speed nature. The only way it'll really win against me is if it is Choice Scarf itself. And if it's Choice Scarf itself, that's just really great prep. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball now because I can and I want to. And that's all she wrote. I'm going to go for Shadow Ball. And that's great. So yeah, this Jolteon's putting in a lot of work, which I'm very happy about. We do see that they just let the Deoxys go down. That is phenomenal for me. Deoxys goes down. I think we just win the game at this point because I don't think Pult will be able to beat the Pheasantipity. So this is a very great situation for me. I am very okay with this. We do get hurt by the burn once again. Quick Feed Jolteon is a very fun Pokemon to use. Sebastian is going to be the Dragapult. That's fine. We outspeed the Dragapult. I just go for the Shadow Ball again. This should be in range. It might not be, might not be, but then we can just bring in Pheasantipity, I've learned as well. Shadow Ball, bada bing, bada boom. It's barely not in range, so we do, they do fail their Thunder Wave, so I think they might have just been showing off the tech there, which is fine. I'm okay with that. We're just going to go for it one more time, and yeah, I just go for Shadow Ball. Oh, is this Custapberry? Ooh, Custapberry. You know what? I respect the tech. I respect the tech. Unfortunately, it's not really going to save them at this point because Urshifu just dies to a Lomomola. Like, I can just go for a Wish against that thing. I can Flip Turn. I can do a number of things. So that was still really fun. That was still really fun to see. I think here we've seen Thunder Wave. We've seen Dragon Darts. I'm very tempted to go, and I'm honestly very tempted to go into Big Meaty Claw here. I really want to. I'm very desperate. I need this in my life. Let's see, Dragapult. It would be so funny. It'd be so funny. It'd be so funny. That's the thing. It'd be so funny. I really want to show off the Big Meaty Claw tech. But also, to be fair, it would prevent Pheasantipity from getting paralyzed, which I think is very useful against the Urshifu. So I will go ahead and do this. Big Meaty Claw, Big Meaty Claw. And I will go for a knockoff here every single time just because I can and I want to. We're going to see a Thunder Wave. That's fine. Rest in peace, Big Meaty Claw. You were almost useful with something. You were almost useful. Let's see here. We do see that they get the knockoff off, though, on the Pult, which is great. Fantastic. And I will go for a knockoff on the Urshifu as well. This should be GG's. I guess I could try to save this thing, but go with the flow. I think they go for either Surging Strikes here or something else. You know what? Frick it. I'm gonna go, let's see here. Just Purple Rain should never die to that, right? They should never die to Urshifu. Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Choice Banded. A CC does do a lot of damage, but if it KOs, it's basically Choice Scarf, and that means Pheasantipity completely walls it. So I will go into my Alomomola here for free, just because I can and I want to. We're gonna see Purple Rain, and we're gonna get a lot of damage off on this thing. And we do also outspeed with Urshifu with Pheasantipity. That is definitely not a boosting item there, so that is fine by me. I think I will go into Cloth now and just pick up the KO, and then Pheasantipity should be able to just, well, I'll let Cloth go down. Pheasantipity should be able to come in and pick up the KO. That's what I meant. So we should be good here. In theory, we should be good. I don't know if that's true, but in theory, we should be good. We are going to see a CC, so Big Meaty Claw goes down. Rest in peace, Big Meaty Claw. You picked up a KO against Dragon Bolt, you did something, so that is pretty awesome if you ask me. Big Meaty Claw is going to go down here, unfortunately, and now we just go Pheasantipity, we outspeed this thing, and we go for a Moonblast and pick up the KO versus it, and we win the game. This thing could also be Scarfed as well. I'm not sure if this thing is Scarfed. The fact that they choice lock themselves into close combat, if they did choice lock themselves, it definitely doesn't look like it's banded. Yeah, they did choice lock themselves, so that's going to do dilly squat. Pheasantipity will pick up this last KO. GG's to Dashing Sceptile. Really, really well played. It feels great to end this off with a win. I will gladly take that. Yeah, once again, GG's to my opponent. Really, really well played. I'm very happy Jolteon popped off with Quick Feet. I'm very happy we were able to get this win. Very, very nice, in my opinion. And, yeah, I'll go ahead and move on to the next game, assuming that that's what I'm going to be doing. I think for time's sake, that's probably is what I'm going to be doing, but that's besides the point. So, yeah, thank you all for watching so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Alrighty, oh, I am super excited for this. This is my first game that I'm doing. I don't know exactly what place is going to be in the upload. I also still don't know fully how I'm going to upload this. The Terrazar Dragon, Cyclizar, and Ghost Wheezing. So that is good to know. This will, I know for a fact that this will have minimal editing, so I apologize in advance if it seems like there's not going to be any cuts or anything like that. I hope you guys still find this entertaining. That's why I'm leaning towards maybe making this like a movie type situation like I've seen other coaches do. I think that could be very entertaining, but we will see. Good luck, have fun to my opponents as always, and let's do this. Okay, so we're going to see Shaman, Ting-Lu, no Annihilate, thank goodness. I do see Screamtail, which I was scared of. No Arcanine is great. We do see Empoleon, no Rotom Wash, no Jugulus, no Illumise, and no Snivy. Okay, so overall this is okay. I'm definitely very glad not to see Annihilate. The Screamtail is definitely going to be scary. Let's see here. I don't know if I want to lead Jolteon here. I'm very tempted to lead Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye could be a fantastic lead here because I don't think anything is going to be scarfed other than Hawkeye. So I think that's what I'm going to do here, just because of the fact that I should outspeed everything. I do outspeed everything minus maybe the Cyclizar, but if Cyclizar is Terra Dragon, let me see here. Cyclizar, Terra Dragon, let's say you click Draco Meteor, because that's the most you could probably do to me. Let's see, Draco Meteor, it does 64 to 75% if you're not a boosting item, so I think, yeah, I think I will lead Hawkeye here, because I can fire off a Regenerator and we're chilling, so that's what I'm going to do. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. This is going to be a very fun game, I think, already. So I'm very, very excited. We also have Taunt in case Ting-Lu is the lead and they try to set up hazards. I'm going to prevent that immediately, which is going to be great. And, yeah, not much more needs to be said. I think this is definitely one of the hardest battles. Oh, that's a cool card, by the way. That is a really cool card. This is definitely going to be one of the harder battles, I think, for these five. This is definitely one of the toughest matchups in this entire, like, thing for me. We're seeing Ting-Lu. I'm going to immediately fire off a Taunt because I can and I want to. I want to make sure that this thing can't set up hazards. If they go for Stone Edge, that's fine. We should always be able to live. I'm just going to go for a Taunt, and that is going to be good. We also have Grass Knot for this thing too, so no hazards are going to be set up for you. Nice try. I'm hoping to see that they went for Stealth Rocks here. They did go for Spikes. Okay, so now I think I'm tempted to go for Grass Knot. Let me see here. Ting-Lu. Grass Knot's going to do a chunk of damage to you, so I'm just going to click Grass Knot here. If we can get some damage off on this thing, that would be phenomenal. We could see a switch into maybe like the Cyclizar or Empoleon. We do just see them stay in. We reveal the Grass Knot, which does a lot of damage, which is obviously great. We also reveal the Life Orb too, and we're going to see Earthquake. They predicted a swap there, which was interesting. So we've seen Earthquake and Spikes. I don't know what other moves they might have. I think what I do here, I think I will go ahead and maybe click U-turn, or no, I don't even have U-turn, so there's no reason for me to here. I think what I do, I will go ahead, I could click Grass Knot again, that could bring in Wheezing. I think this time I might click Bleak Wind on a swap. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click Bleak Wind on a swap. So let's see what wants to switch in here. I'm very, very, very curious about that. They might opt to stay in too. We could see most likely maybe an Empoleon switch, which if that was the case, then maybe Bleak Wind, or maybe the Grass Knot would be better. Also, Empoleon does have competitive, so if the speed gets lower, then that gets boosted if they are running that on that set. I am glad Empoleon's not the Terra here, so I am okay with this. The Cyclozar is definitely going to be very annoying in terms of trying to set up hazards, so we do have to keep that in mind. I'm curious to see as well if they decide to stay in. Maybe I could have just clicked Grass Knot again, I'm not too sure, but we will go ahead and see here. Regardless, we're going to do a chunk of damage to anything that wants to switch in, even if it is the Screamtail. We are going to see the swap. I'm hoping to see maybe Screamtail come in, so that way I can Sludge Wave on the next turn. We're going to see Vicky, which is probably going to be Empoleon if I had to guess. It is going to be the Empoleon. So we're going to fire off a Bleak Wind Storm here. Boom. Does a lot of damage, all things considered. I'm hoping not to see the speed drop. That was a crit. That's good to know. Okay, so thankfully we don't get the speed drop here. So Empoleon, let's see, Bleak Wind Storm. So you're definitely more defensive for sure. You might be max. It looks like, yeah, you're probably max if that was a crit. So I think what I do here, I could switch into Purple Rain on an attack, and I think I kind of want to do that. I could also go into the Redditor. I think here what I do, I think this is going to be the Assault Vest user probably. I will go ahead and go into Purple Rain, and then I will go ahead and click Flip Turn, I think. On the swap, that will be my assumption, just that way I can try to see what this thing wants to do and go from there and figure things out from that point. We're just going to see a flip turn ourselves. This thing is going to take Rocky Helmet Chip, which I am more than okay with. We're probably going to see the Shaman Sky come in here, which is not ideal, but, you know, we can make that work. My switch-in for that every single time will be the Slowking Galar, because Slowking Galar is meant to completely wall Shaman Sky. We have the Shuka Berry in case they try to go for Earth Power. We're going to see Filipina, which I'm assuming is the Shaman Sky. No, it's the Jigglypuff. Very interesting. So I'm curious here as to what this thing is going to want to do to me. So I think I don't, let's see, a flip turn could be annoying. They could go for taunt, I think, but I think here right now I'm going to go for flip turn. They could try to set up screens. They are going to set up rocks. Okay, so they set up rocks here, which is fine, ultimately. I could go into Pheasantipity here, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do, because rocks could be very annoying in this game. I think I go Pheasantipity, but then that leads Empoleon to be a very free swap, which is not fun. So I think what I do here, if I go Pheasantipity, I have to go for a U-turn into Jolteon. Which is obviously more than okay. Ting-Lu could be an issue here, but we also have Terra Ice, Terra Blast for that. I'm trying to think of other situations. I could honestly go Bagpipes as well, but I'm worried about this thing having Flamethrower, so I think I will go Pheasantipity. This is going to be more of a hazard stacking team, which does make sense. If this thing outspeeds me, that's fine. I'm going to just click U-turn here. We also reveal that we have the Black Sludge, which is great. I kind of wish I had the Heavy Duty Boots on certain Pokemon, but it is what it is. I will go ahead and go for a U-turn. The Tornadus is definitely not going to enjoy the rocks at all, but we can work around that. Regenerator will still restore more HP than we lose, but we also have to keep in mind that, you know, Life Orb is also going to deal a lot of damage over time, so we have to be very careful. That, and also Jolteon, once it Terras, is not going to enjoy switching in. So that's also not going to be fun. Low-key, Jolteon looks phenomenal right now as well, so that's something we have to keep in mind. We're probably going to see Empoleon come in. Yep, that's going to be Vicky the Empoleon, so I am okay with this. Let's see here. Maybe I don't go Jolteon yet, because the reason being, I don't know if I want to go Jolteon here because of the fact that, let's see, Ting-Lu, assuming that, you know, let's see here, Tornadus, Grass Knot. I think it's definitely not max def, I don't think, but I think it has a lot of HP. Let's see, no, I think actually it might be max def, but not max HP. Yeah, that looks more right. So if I go Jolteon here, and if I click Terra Ice, Terra Blast, 35 to 41%, so it doesn't deal quite enough, but I do still like that. I kind of want to go into Fortress and click Rapid Spin here, though, and I think that's what I'm going to do, just to immediately get rid of some of these rocks. I could also try to set up spikes of my own to force a switch eventually into Cyclozar. That could be very fun. I think here, for now, what I do, I think I just try to get rid of these rocks of my own. If this thing has rocks, then that's fine. Let's see, nothing is Terra Ghost yet, so I can go for Rapid Spin for free. Weezing will probably be the swap here into the Terra Ghost, that would be my assumption. There is a lot of possible fire coverage on my opponent's team as well. This thing can only really switch in against this thing and the Ting Lu. This is fine, we have Pain Split, we're going to fire off our Rapid Spin. I think here I think I will set up my Layer of Spikes. Critical hit does not matter here. We do raise our speed, which is very important as well, and the pointed stones disappear from our team. I will go ahead, I think I set up my own rocks. I could set up a spike, but I also valued getting chip on Shame and Sky and Weezing if they opt to switch in here. So I will go ahead and set up my own rocks. We also outspeed this thing now, which is good to know, especially if we need to go for a Pain Split at some point. Hopefully we don't see this thing be a setup, and it's not, we go for a flip turn. We could see Cyclizar switch in here, which would make sense. And at the very least, we have the hazards going on our side of the field, so if Cyclizar comes in, that's fine. I think what I do here, if Cyclizar comes in, I might still be able to outdamage it with Jolteon, and that's kind of my goal. Not really. Slicklizar, that is going to be this thing. If it's AV, then it will live pretty much anything. If it's not AV, then Terra Blast will KO, which I think is very valuable. I think here they have to go for a Rapid Spin. I think I go Purple Rain here and I click Flip Turn just to get damage off on this thing with the Rocky Helmet and also put them on the back foot. I value this a lot here because of the pivoting potential. I think that's very crucial here, and we are just going to see an Overheat actually, which I am more than okay with. I'm very glad I didn't switch into Jolteon now. So we're going to see the special attack harshly drop. And we are also going to see that this is also Life Orb, which is good to know as well. So here, I think I could go for a Wish. I think I just go for Flip Turn though. Slow Flip Turn is always very nice. If they go for Rapid Spin, which they do here, they're going to take even more chip. This gives me a very free switch into Jolteon as well, because they're going to take a lot of damage from Rocky Helmet. They're going to take a lot of damage from the Rocky Helmet as well. This thing is going to get back up to full. I can freely go for a Terra Ice Terra Blast on Jolteon at this point because it just does a lot of damage against everything. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Nothing wants to switch into this. Even the Scream Tail is not going to necessarily enjoy this, which is great. So yeah, I just go for this. We also reveal that we are Guts Quick Feet, which is always very nice. So we do outspeed this thing. I can go for the Terra Blast for free. The Terra Ice Terra Blast is a very free button click. I don't care about burning my Terra now because it's, especially because Terra Normal Pheasantipity is only really there for the Annihilate. So because that's not there, then there's no reason for me to ever Terra Pheasantipity in this game. We're going to see Filipina, which is going to be this thing, which does make sense. And I am more than okay with this. It's still going to take damage from this thing. We do guarantee outspeed this as well. So that is also very nice. We reveal the Terra Ice Terra Blast here. It'll do a decent chunk of damage. We'll get a bit more intel on the set. I'm expecting this to be max HP max Spadef. This thing was the hardest thing to prep for in prep, so I'm not looking forward to having to deal with it. We could also see rocks for free here. I think here what I do, I will go for a Volt Switch. It is just a very free button click here, and it looks to be at least max HP, maybe not max Spadef. So, which is fine by me. So I will go for a Volt Switch here to deal some damage for free. That's a lot of damage. That was a crit. I am very sorry about that crit. That is unfortunate. But I am okay with this. They're probably going to go for rocks here. I think I do go into Prince. I could also go into Purple Rain, but I don't think I do that either. I think I immediately try to scare this thing out with Prince. And then if Empoleon comes in on another U-turn, I can just go Fortress and Rapid Spin those things away. I also have Pain Split as well. We're going to see a Wish pop off here, so they're definitely going to switch out here, which is fine. We're going to get back some HP, which I am more than okay with. If they opt to stay in here on the U-turn, that's fine, because they're going to outspeed. They do just go for a Protect, which is very interesting. Again, that's fine. I'm okay with this. I just go for U-turn every single time because of the fact that this thing doesn't outspeed me. If it has Psyshock, it's going to do a lot of damage, but we still outspeed it. So, and we have, we don't outspeed it, but we're still going to, get a U-turn off. We outspeed a lot of other Pokemon on this team as well, so, like the Ting Lu and stuff like that. So we can fire off Roosts against, the Empoleon, mainly the Empoleon and the Weezing. So if Weezing ever hits the field, that would be a perfect mon to set up against. I will go ahead and fire off this U-turn. I'm expecting the Empoleon to switch in. That makes the most sense to me. We're going to see the swap here, which does make sense, and we're going to see Pack-a-Day, which is not the Empoleon. So if we burn something here, that'd be great, or poison something, but unfortunately it is going to be the Galarian Weezing that comes in, which is fine. This gives me a free switch into the Slowking Galar. We could also, let's see, it's Terra Ghost as the option here, which is fine. I think I still go into this mon here, the Redditor, and I think I just click Psychic Noise. Ting Lu could come in here for sure, and if it does, then that's not great. So maybe I actually click Taunt instead. They could also just immediately Terra Ghost and go for like Terra Blast, but even then that's not going to do that much damage to me. I'm going to click Taunt here on the Ting Lu switch. Or if this thing wants to stay in versus me, then it can't do any shenanigans against any of my other mons. So that's important to note as well. We are going to see the double. We're probably going to see a Ting Lu switch if I had to guess, which would give me Lady Tings. That is going to be the Ting Lu. This gives me a very free swap into the Tornadus, which is great, and I can just go for a Grass Knot or something like that, which is awesome. So yeah, you're not going to be able to set up hazards, which is great. Again, if we can get Empoleon off the field, if we can get either Ting Lu or Empoleon off the field, Jolteon has a field day for the rest of this team. So that is going to be my main goal right now, is to try to get one of those two mods off the field. I could go into Purple Rain here, but I don't think I do that. I think I just go Hawkeye. And then I think I honestly, like, I could go for a Grass Knot. You know, it's not going to do that much damage against Screamtail, but Screamtail I don't think is going to have Thunder Wave. If it has, yeah, it's not going to have Thunder Wave because it surely has to have an attacking move, otherwise we completely wall it. So I think here what I do, I just go for a Grass Knot every single time. If the Weezing comes in, that's fine. I think if Shaman Sky comes in, that's fine. So I will do this. And then if the Screamtail comes in, we just click Taunt versus it, so that way it can't do anything. And if it has an attacking move, great. This is overall a very good situation for us. I'm very glad I packed Taunt on the Slowking Galar now. That's very nice for me. If Empoleon comes in, this Grass Knot's still going to do a lot of damage to it. If Screamtail comes in, we can Taunt and then click the Sludge Wave button against it that next turn. So yeah, this is overall a very good situation for us. If Cyclizar comes in, that's not the most ideal, but again, you know, we can still make that work. We have Bleak Wind Storm, we have other things we can use. We're going to see Vicky, which is going to be the Empoleon, which does make sense here, on the Grass Knot. And we do outspeed this too, and we could also go for a Taunt versus this Mon as well, so that way it can't Roost, which I'm kind of tempted to do at this point. I don't know if I want to do that fully, but I think maybe I do. Yeah, I could do that. I could also just go into Purple Rain on a flip turn as well, which would also punish this, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I will go into Purple Rain to punish this. This basically comes down to who can, like, it's a very heavy pivoting game, which is great for me because of the fact that I am a regen core team. We are going to see Roost here, which does make sense. I'm very tempted to go for Wish here at this point. I'm very, very tempted to go for Wish here at this point. But I don't think there's a reason for me to do that. I should underspeed this Empoleon every single time, so I will go for a flip turn here on the chance that they go for a flip turn. They just go for knockoff, so we lose our Rocky Helmet, which is not great. This does give me a pretty free switch into any of my other Pokemon, though. Losing my item here is not fun. I don't enjoy that, because that's going to make the rest of this team harder to break, because a lot of Alomamula's damage comes from the Rocky Helmet. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not the most ideal. I could go into Bagpipes and set up hazards again, just to force something to come in to take the attack. Which I do like. The Mental Herb is also, like, still decently useful, so I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to force hazards to enter back up on the field. And yeah, so I think here what I do, I think I just set up my rocks again. I could also set up spikes here, but I don't think I do that. They go for the flip turn, which does make sense. The Fortress is slowly getting whittled down, so next time I might try to Wish Pass into Fortress, but we'll see. We're probably going to see the Cyclizar switch in here. We could see a Rapid Spin from the Cyclizar as well. I think regardless, I do go into a Lomomola against the Cyclizar. Maybe not. I think the Terra they're going to prioritize here is going to be the Weezing for Ghost. I think that makes the most sense. I'm hoping not to see Cyclizar. I'm hoping to maybe see Screamtail or Weezing or something like that. Again, the Screamtail has Wish, Protect, and Rocks. So I'm going to actually write that down. Protect, Rocks. Just because of the fact that that reveals a lot about the moveset, and I like knowing things about the moveset, so yes, that's what we're going to do here. And yeah, so again, Screamtail is pretty heavily walled by my Galarian Slowking, which is great to know, especially if it's just Wish Protect rocks. That is very, very good. I do want to keep Fortress alive as much as possible because of the fact that rocks are a thing, so I do have to keep that in mind. We're going to see Mini for the first time, which is going to be the Shaman Sky. That is going to be the Shaman Sky here. That's fine. I set up my rocks here. I go into Slowking Galar every single time because that's my switch in for this thing. If they go for an Earth Power, they have to fear that I swap into Torn. That's a very obvious swap I could make, so I will go into the Redditor here, and we're going to see how much damage this thing does to me. And then I just think I fire off a Sludge Bomb next turn. The Empoleon can come in. The Empoleon is going to be the biggest threat on my team because I have the hardest time breaking that Mon, especially with Ting Lu alive, so I'm going to have to get some reads right, unfortunately. The Ting Lu, if we can weaken the Ting Lu down, that would be the most ideal situation. So we're going to see the Redditor hit the field here. We do see an Air Slash, which is fine. That's a lot of damage. And that's not Life Orb, so I'm going to actually do a calc real quick, because that's a lot of damage. Let's see here, Shaman Sky. Let's see, 262, it took me down to 66%. I think this thing might be Specs. It does look like this thing is Specs. This thing absolutely looks Specs here, in my opinion. So I think what I do here, I think I could Grass Knot on the Ting Lu switch because I think that's what's going to switch in here. I don't see anything else switching it except maybe the Empoleon. So I will click Grass Knot here on the swap. Yes, we do see the swap. So the Shaman Sky is absolutely Specs. So that's very terrifying. We're going to see Vicky the Empoleon come in. And they're going to take damage from rocks, which is great. That also means Shaman Sky is going to take damage from rocks too, which is also great. That does a minuscule amount of damage. We're probably going to see Roost here if I had to guess. Jolteon's a very free swap here. I think I could go into Bagpipes instead of a layer of Spikes. I could also click Pain Split. I think what I do here, I could also just straight up threaten this thing out with Jolteon. Because I think they know how much they have to value this thing. I could go into Purple Rain. I still think that's what I do here because this thing can't hit Purple Rain for any damage. We need, if we can get one of these Pokemon like Cyclizar, Empoleon, or Ting Lu down, then we are put in an amazing position. So that's kind of my goal at this point. And if this thing goes for Flip Turn, they just go for Roost. That makes sense. So here I will go ahead and go for Flip Turn, and this is fine. I go for Flip Turn here every single time, and I think this time I might go into Jolteon. Okay, so we know this thing's full moveset now too. It's Roost, Flip Turn, Ice Beam, and Knock Off, so that's fine. I think here what I do, I could go into Jolteon for free. The Ting Lu is a threat and a half, which I am not an enjoyer of. I could also go into Bagpipes here and just click Spikes for free. That does bring in Cyclizar, which I don't like as much. I think here what I do, I think I go into Jelly Bean, I think, to threaten this thing out. I don't think there's anything I can do to KO me. They do have Flip Turn as an option as well. So, let me see here. Jolteon versus Empoleon. Let's see here. It doesn't have Surf. Ice Beam would probably do the most damage. It does 34 to 40%. So I think what I do here, I think I just go into Jolteon, and I think I click Terra Blast Ice. We could see a Flip Turn. We could see they just immediately switch out. I think what I do here, I think I do need to predict the Ting Lu switch, unfortunately. We could also see the Screamtail switch as well. I think here a Terra Blast is kind of my main play. If this thing stays in, then it dies, but if Ting Lu comes in, then that could be a problem. I think regardless what I do here, maybe I click Thunderbolt. I don't know. This is a very hard read for me to make, unfortunately. Just because of the fact that, this thing could go for Flip Turn. And if it does, then we have to take a lot of damage on Jolteon, which is not fun, and I don't enjoy having to do that. I think here, they have to fear the Terra Blast. I think Screamtail might be their switch, actually, here. I think I'm going to click Volt Switch. I think they do have to save this thing, but I don't think they go into Ting Lu on the off chance that I click Terra Blast here. We're going to see they do go into Ting Lu, so that was a bit of a throw on my end. If I had clicked Terra Blast, then this thing would be dead. Or it wouldn't be dead, but it would be taking a lot of damage. So here, I think what I do, I could go into Torn. I could go into Torn for free. We're also going to see lefties on this. I don't think I go into Fortress yet. I could go into Fortress, but I don't think I do that here. We're going to take more damage from Burn, which is not fun. I think here I do go into Hawkeye. We're probably going to see Rocks hit the field, if I had to guess. We've only seen Earthquake and Rocks on Ting Lu right now. So, or well, spikes. I guess we should say spikes. So that's good to know. I think we do see the Stone Edge. Really well played there. They have to land another one. They do have to land another one, and I think at this point I value taking damage on this thing, so I think I will actually stay in and click Grass Knot. That'll punish the switch, that'll punish this thing, so I think I'm okay with this. They do stay in, we click Grass Knot here, and if they miss their next Stone Edge, this thing is going to die. I could also go into Jolteon here for free. We're just going to see a layer of spikes, so they were probably predicting a swap there, which I am okay with. This thing has taken a lot of damage at this point. I think I just click Grass Knot again. We could see the Wheezing come in. But if we can get this thing, again, this thing is weakened down enough to where Jolteon can KO next time it hits the field. So that's a great position for me. So I think what I do here, just to try to scare this thing out, and also damage the Empoleon some more, I will go for Grass Knot. We are going to see the swap here. We're probably going to see Wheezing if I had to guess. We're going to see Vicky. No, that's the Empoleon. So this is actually still a good situation for me because this thing is also going to take some damage. So that is very nice. I will go ahead and save this Mon for sure. And I think here what I'm going to do, I will go ahead and swap into Purple Rain once again. The hazards are going to be annoying, like I said before, but this will also give me an opportunity to Wish Pass. We could also see that they go for the, just simply the Flip Turn right here. We're going to take some damage, which is not fun. But yeah, we do just see a Flip Turn here. We're probably going to see Shaman Sky hit the field again, which is not going to be great for us, unfortunately. This does bring in Shaman Sky for free. I think here they might click Seed Flare, which would make sense. If they click Earth Power, then I double into the Torn, which they could also very easily predict. But again, Shaman Sky being specs, that's good information to know. That's absolutely good intel to have. Also, rocks are still up on the field. We're going to see Filipina, so it's not going to be Shaman Sky. It is going to be this thing, which I am okay with. We have Wish, Protect, and Rocks. So I think here I will go ahead and click Wish, because I don't think there's anything this thing can do to really damage me that much. They could Wish Pass themselves, but I think here I'm just going to fire off my own Wish here. We're going to see Rocks hit the field. I'm okay with this. This gives me a free switch into the Fortress. This also gives me a Wish Passer too. We reveal Wish. We also have Healing Wish in the back still as well in case we absolutely need that as a last resort. I click Flip Turn here every single time. If this thing wants to stay in, that's fine with me. I could go... We do see a Wish here themselves, which again, I'm okay with. I can go into my Fortress and get my HP recovery back up, and then I can go for Rapid Spin next turn. If they protect, that's fine with me. They can't taunt me, which is great. If they have an attacking move, it's not doing any damage to me, so that's good to know as well. This is going to be a very long game, which I apologize for. Again, this is probably going to be yeah, I'm definitely not adding a lot of edits into this. I think I'm doing a good job with my commentary. I hope I am anyways. Let me know if I'm doing a good job with my commentary right now. I will go ahead and go for a spin. I think that's my freest play here. Cyclosaur coming in could be annoying, especially if they are able to get rid of the rocks on their end, but the rocks are whittling down my opponent's team in general. Ting Lu in particular is not going to be able to switch in on Jolteon again. I can go for a Terra Blast for free on that next turn, which is great information to have, just so that way I can spam Volt switches and stuff like that. We're going to see a Protect here, that's fine. I'm prioritizing the Rapid Spin. I could have predicted that and gone for a... whatchamacallit, I could have gone for a other attack. We also have Sturdy too, so the Flamethrower will never be able to KO us, which is also great information to have. This thing's at full HP again, but that's fine because this thing can't win against Slowking Galar. I just click Rapid Spin here, and not think too much of it. We are going to see the swap here, so this thing has nothing to hit Fortress with. It doesn't have the Flamethrower, which is great. We're going to see Pack-a-Day, which is going to be the Wheezing, which we are going to take Helmet Chip from, but that's okay. But yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with this. This gives me a pretty free switch into Slowking Galar. We get rid of the hazards on my opponent's side of the field, which is obviously always great. And yeah, I think here, what I do, I could go into Prince. I could honestly go into Prince here and click U-turn. I could also go into this thing, just threaten it out immediately. I think here what I do, I think I will go into the Redditor just to immediately threaten this thing out. If the Ting Lu comes in, I just taunt. If they stay in, that's fine. They could go for Will-O-Wisp here, but that's okay. Another reason why I didn't want to go into Pheasantipede is because they have that. They also reveal the Flamethrower here. We take Diddly Squat from that, which is obviously very nice. I think here what I do, I go for a taunt every single time. If this thing wants to stay in, which it obviously doesn't, Ting Lu is probably what's going to come in here. We are going to see Vicky. That's actually going to be the Empoleon. I'm okay with this thing only being able to take or do a deal damage. That is fine by me. I go for a taunt here every single time. They could go for flip turn, which I am okay with. They could also go for knock. I don't value losing my item on this thing. So I think here what I do, I don't want to go into Purple Rain because I think they do go for a flip turn here. They could go for knock, obviously, and if they do go for knock, then that's not ideal because if they lock themselves into Earth Power, then that means Galarian Slowking will die to the Shaman Sky, and I'm fully expecting that to have that attack. So I think here what I do, I think I do have to go into Bagpipes because I don't think any of my opponents have Taunt. If they do go into this, or if they do let Fortress come in and they just go for knockoff, we lose our Mental Herb, which is fine. I could just set spikes immediately. The best case scenario, they go for Ice Beam, which is amazing for us. It does deal a decent chunk of damage, but here I'm just going to go ahead and set up a layer of spikes, I think. I could also go for a... I could do a bunch of things here, but I think here I'm just going to set up a layer of spikes. Eventually, the Cyclozar will have to come in. They do have to hard swap here, so I don't know if they thought that I had Rocky Helmet here. We're going to see Weezing come back in. That's fine with me. I'm okay with this. Everything is just going to keep taking chip here, which I am more than happy with. I set my layer of spikes, so we've seen Flamethrower on this thing. I think that's all we've seen at this point. So we do know that this thing has Flamethrower. We get a layer of spikes up. We go into the Redditor here every single time. If they double here into a different Mon, then that's fine. I'm okay with it. They could double into Ting Lu, which does have Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Spikes. And probably like one other attack too. They could predict me to stay swap into Torn if they do opt to go Ting Lu, and then I could pick up the KO with the Grass Knot, or at least deal a lot more damage. But again, like Cyclozar coming in here, if Cyclozar comes in here, it's going to take damage from my Slowking if they want to Rapid Spin the Hazards, if they want to prioritize that. So that's very good, like, that information to have, and Cyclozar is going to take a lot of damage and possibly get poisoned because of the Sludge Bomb and things like that. I don't know if Psychic Noise works on Regenerator. I don't think it does, unfortunately, so that's a bit annoying, but again, it is what it is. My opponent's definitely taking their time to think about this play. They're going to double here, which does make sense. Let's see what they double into. They're going to double into Empoleon, which I am okay with. This thing is getting chipped and whittled down slowly but surely, and I am more than happy with that. So I think here, maybe this time, I think I do have to double back into my Fortress because of the fact, again, the knockoff, I can't risk losing my Shuka Berry at this point. Fortress is taking a lot of damage here, but at least this doesn't allow Shaman Sky to come in for free, which is really good information to have. So this is honestly more than okay with me. This Empoleon could roost here, which they do. I think I just go for a second layer of spikes to punish whatever wants to switch in here. Which is probably going to be the Weezing. I think, no, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Pain Split here, because I'm fully expecting them to attack me at this point. And even if they don't, they get back up to full, we're going to still recover HP regardless. We're going to recover HP against pretty much everything that wants to switch in against Fortress, whether it is going to, and my guess is it's going to be the Weezing. So if we can get some chip on the Weezing, that's phenomenal. And really, really good for us. I think this is what I do here, because I'm expecting a flip turn or a knockoff or something like that. And we're going to get some HP back, which is always nice. And if the Cyclozar comes in, we might lose some HP, but I don't think they're going to switch in Cyclozar at this point. I think if they were going to do that, they would have done it by now. This will also reveal our full set, and reveal that we are like Rapid Spin, Pain Split, etc. But again, I'm hoping to see the Weezing here. We are going to see the swap. Let's see what comes in here. It might be the Cyclozar, it might be the Weezing. It is the Weezing, so Weezing is going to take some damage here from this Pain Split, I think. Maybe not, actually. That might have actually hurt us a bit more, so maybe I should have set the second layer. We do actually lose HP there, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. I go into the Redditor here every single time. If they double into Empoleon, that's fine. And, yeah. Again, I don't want to go into a Lomomola, because if they flip turn on a swap, then Shaman Sky comes in for free and claims a life. And that's something that I'm not really okay with right now, especially with Hazard still an option on the field and things like that. I need to be very careful with how I play my Alomomola, because of the fact that if Shaman Sky comes in, then that could ruin my day. We might see Ting Lu here, which would make sense. Yeah, we are going to see the Ting Lu here. That absolutely makes sense. I am scared of a Earthquake. We are Shuka Berry, though, as well, and I think I value getting rid of this thing more. We should be able to KO with this thing, I imagine. with the amount of damage we're doing to it with my other mons. The Grass Knot does 22 to 27%, so maybe not. I think here they are going to go for a Stone Edge. I think that's what they go for here. And we might not actually KO with a Grass Knot at this point, which does kind of suck. I think here, actually, I think I will go into Purple Rain now and then click Flip Turn. I doubt they double at this point. I very highly doubt that they double. I think this gives me a very free switch into Jolteon if they do opt to stay in, and yeah, so Ting-Lu is going to do some damage to me, obviously. It's going to do a decent chunk, but again, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So they opt to set up the spikes here, which is fine. I could go for a Scald here to try to get a burn on something. The Empoleon getting burned would be phenomenal, but yeah, I think here I could also Wish Pass too, but I think Shaman Sky could come in here still. I think here I will go, let's see, if I don't Flip Turn here, I think I do have to Wish, actually. If Shaman Sky comes in, then that's really well played. We are going to see the hard swap. Let's see what wants to switch in here. It's probably going to be the Filipina, which is going to be the Scream Tail, I believe, which I am more than happy with. We're going to fire off our Wish, and here I can just just Flip Turn into Fortress. Actually, no, I'm actually going to hard swap in case they try to predicting the Flip Turn. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm thinking they're going to protect. This gives Fortress free HP recovery. I think here I just always go for a second layer of spikes every single time. They could see a Wish here. Yeah, we do see a Wish. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I set up my second layer of spikes every single time. And if the Cyclozar wants to come in, that's fine. Or HP is recovered. Actually, no. You know what I do? I think I click Rapid Spin. I always click Rapid Spin here. Weezing can come in for free, but that's fine. Again, I am okay with it. As long as we have hazard control. That's the most important thing right now, is having hazard control. This game is going to last a very long time, but I think I am definitely moving a lot faster than my opponent. So that is really, really nice information to have, that, you know, hey, we're significantly moving faster than our opponent at this point. This is one of the longest games ever. I'm really sorry to Rude for this really long game. We're going to see the Weezing come in here. That's fine. Weezing is going to get HP recovery, obviously, from the Wish. I think they're basically restored back up to full. And we get our speed buff. We take damage from the Rocky Helmet. We could see a double here. The spikes disappear, which is obviously very nice. We're going to see them fully recover their HP, which is annoying, but that's fine. I think here I could go into Purple Rain. Every single time they've only really clicked Flamethrower or doubled, predicting my Slowking Galar. So I think here I'm going to go into Purple Rain. I don't think they have Toxic. I think they would have clicked it by now if they had it. If they get this read right, then Alomomoola's longevity is weakened a little bit. Not too much, because all it really does is click Flip Turn. We do swap out first, but that doesn't mean anything because of the Rapid Spin boost. So we do send in Alomomola. We do see the Flamethrowers, so thankfully we got that read right. I think here, regardless, I go for the Flip Turn here. If they opt to stay in, that's fine. I do also underspeed this thing, which is good information to have. We are going to see the Sludge Bomb here, but I do click Flip Turn. We're not at full HP, which is something to keep in mind, but, you know, still, regardless, this is still good. Let's see, Jolteon versus Weezing. I want to see how much damage the Thunderbolt does. It does a decent chunk of damage to my opponent, so that's really good. I could also switch into Torn. I think here, I go into Jelly Bean and I click Volt Switch. I can take out Ting-Lu with a Terra Blast if I really want to, and I greatly value that. So I'm going to go ahead and start just playing more hyper offensive. If they go Ting-Lu, that's fine. I just click Volt Switch here every single time if they opt to stay in. They do opt to switch out. We could see a Scream Tail switch in too. If Ting-Lu comes in, it's going to be Filipina, which is going to be the Scream Tail. So we get a Volt Switch off on this thing, which is great. Here I always go into, I could go into Torn, I could go into, yeah, here, actually, no, I do go into Torn here every single time. I absolutely go into Tornadus because of the fact that I can taunt this thing. I can also taunt the Empoleon too, which is obviously really nice. And yeah, so we're also going to get more HP recovery, which is great. If the Ting-Lu comes in, I Grass Knot next turn. If this thing opts to stay in and try to set up, then I can go for, I think I'd still go for Grass Knot on the switch, because I doubt this thing is going to want to stay in versus me. It could opt to stay in versus me, but I doubt it. They know at this point that I have Taunt. I think their best switch in here is going to be the Empoleon. They could also switch into Ting-Lu here. If they do, that's fine. We could also see Cyclozar. We're going to see Vicky the Empoleon, so that makes sense. Vicky the Empoleon is going to come in. It's going to take damage from rocks and spikes, which is great. If we can get spikes up on the fields, if we can get more spikes up on the field, then this is going to be great for us. Empoleon is going to get taunted here, which is obviously great. I'm fully expecting a flip turn here, but that's fine. I think here what I do, I could go into Prince, but I also don't feel comfortable losing my Black Sludge if they go for knockoff. But also if I go for U-turn, they can't really go into Shaman. If I go into this thing, then they can't really go for a they can't go into Shaman Sky respectfully, because like I could be scarfed, you know, kind of thing. So they do go for flip turn here. They probably weren't expecting this switch. They could go into Cyclizar here. I doubt they do. I think they go into Weezing. That would be my assumption. They could also go into Tinglu here, but I don't think they're going to want to do that. I do have Play Rough on this thing, and it's going to deal a decent chunk of damage to Tinglu. I don't know if it'll KO from the range it's at. It looks like it would be a roll, so I think I would still click U-turn every single time. If the Weezing comes in, I just hard swap. Either that, or I stay in and click Roost, which I could also definitely do. I'm okay with this outcome so far. I'm not keeping a close eye on the timer, but my opponent is definitely spending a lot of time thinking. So if I end up with more time, I think we'll win the game. Again, this is definitely not the way I would like to win, obviously. I'm trying to get in a position where Jolteon can win the game. That's kind of my reasoning for my positioning that I'm doing right now. If Screamtail comes in, then it probably has Psyshock, but that would be the only thing. And if it does, then I think they would have swapped into it by now if it did have Psyshock. And even then, it definitely would not KO me at this point because of the bulk I have. So I can just go for Poison Jab. We're going to see Mini, which is going to be the Shaman Sky, which means I'm kind of expecting an Earth Power here. They take a lot of damage here. Pheasantipity goes down, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Granted, losing my Fairy type when there's still a Terra Dragon Pokemon is not ideal. But if they go for Earth Power, then I can just go into Torn for free. That gives me a very free switch into Tornadus. So I think here, let's see here, Shaman, Sky, Choice Scarf, Earth Power, let's see here, Choice Specs, 60 to 71%, I'm currently at 279, which means I'm currently at 73%, so it should never be able to KO me. I think here I just go for a Poison Jab. I could also go for U-turn here. They are just going to go for Air Slash to do a lot of damage to me. That's a crit, that's a very unfortunate crit, and we do get flinched. That's not ideal. That's absolutely not ideal. I'm not a big fan of that. So I think here what I have to do, do I want to save Pheasantipity? Kind of. I do want to save Pheasantipity here. I know this thing is Air Slash, like, it's Choice Specs at this point. This gives me a very free switch into Jolteon next turn, and I can click Terra Blast. If I can poison certain Pokemon, that would be phenomenal for me. So I think I do still want to, do I want to keep Pheasantipity alive? I don't think it's worth it at this point to keep Pheasantipity alive, unfortunately. So I think I will go ahead and let myself go down, unfortunately. On the off chance that they miss their Air Slash, I will go for a Roost. They do land their second Air Slash, which is not ideal. And we do fall to the attack. Screamtail comes in. I think that's fine. I go into Jolteon here every single time. I don't fully know what I want to do here. I could go for Thunderbolt. I could go for Volt Switch. I think here what I do, I think I just go for Terra Blast and attack what's in front of me. If they let this thing go down, then that's phenomenal for me. So losing Pheasantipity First Blood is always not great. We could see the Screamtail come in, which is my assumption. We're going to see Filipina, that is going to be the Screamtail. We're going to deal a lot of damage to this thing, which is great. Terra Blast, bada bing, bada boom. Also, this thing is heavy duty boots, which is good to know as well. This thing is heavy duty boots because it didn't take any damage. We're going to deal a decent chunk of damage here. Boom, that's good amount of damage. I think here I just go for a Volt Switch. They could go for, yeah, I think here I just go for a Volt Switch. I doubt they protect here. They could protect for more damage, but yeah, no, they don't. I think here now I go into Fortress, and I go for the second layer of spikes on the Protect. That is what I do here every single time. And if they try to set up rocks, then that's okay as well. I can Rapid Spin those away immediately. We do see the Wish, which does make sense. I'm fully expecting to Protect here, so I'm going to set up my second layer of spikes, and I'm going to be happy about it. That's the wrong move. I'm stupid. Okay, whatever, they protected. I'm stupid here. I played that bad. That was a mistake, but at the very least they protected, so I didn't fully throw that away. That was definitely a major mistake on my end. I clicked just way too fast. It is what it is. If this thing has Flamethrower now, then really well played. I doubt it does, though. I think they would have clicked it by now, because, yeah. And if they do, if it is something that they do have, then okay, yeah, they just Wish here again. That's fine. I go for a second layer of spikes here, just to keep entry hazards continuing to go up on the field. I think here I could double. I don't know what they would switch into. They could switch into Shaman here. I think here what I do, I could go into the Redditor on the swap. I think I kind of want to do that because I also still wall this thing completely. They could also go Ting Lu. Ting Lu here would be a bit rough, but I think that still might die to 2 layers of spikes. No, they go into Mini. This is best case scenario for me. So they are going to get chipped with hazards, and we go into our wall for this thing. I immediately go for Sludge Bomb every single time. I don't care if the Empoleon comes in. If the Empoleon wants to come in, that is completely fine by me. I fire off a Sludge Bomb to get damage off on this thing. And if you choice lock yourself into Earth Power, we have the Shuka Berry, and we can also go for, like, literally, like, anything at this point. So, yeah. I go for a Sludge Bomb here. If Ting Lu comes in, there's a chance it gets poisoned. If the Empoleon comes in, that gives me a switch into a number of other Pokemon. This is a really good position for me, though. This is absolutely a really good position. They do opt to swap out here, which does make sense. I'm expecting Vicky the Empoleon. That makes sense. They could have Roost here, which I think they are forced to click Roost at this point, just because of where they are at with the damage racking up. They could also click Flip Turn, obviously. They could absolutely click Flip Turn here, which is a slight problem. I think here what I do... I don't think they click Flip Turn here. The way they're playing this, I think they are going to want to save that, but I think here... I don't know if I want to go into Jolteon on this turn. Jolteon's starting to get chipped a bit more, which I'm not a big fan of. But I think I will go Jolteon here just to start playing aggressive. Jolteon's my win con. Shaman is their win con at this point, I think. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. So if they go for Flip Turn, that's really well played, but that means Empoleon's much less of a threat. They do go for Roost here, which is exactly what I expected. If Ting Lu comes in here, it dies to a Terra Blast, and they know that. I will go for a Volt Switch here, I think. I could go for a Thunderbolts for free, but I think I will go for Volt Switch. Again, the burn chip is racking up here, but yeah, this is okay. I'm okay with this. Because if this thing gets chipped down a lot, then I can go into Torn for free. I can go into a couple other Pokemon for free. They do switch out here. I'm expecting the Screen Tail to probably come in. We could see Lady Tings. Nope, it's going to be the Screen Tail. That makes sense. So now is the chance for me to click the Taunt on this thing, which is obviously always nice. I could also just click Sludge Wave too. I think here what I do... I just click for Taunt every single time, though. I think that's a very free button click for me, and I'm not going to complain about it. Ting Lu could come in here. If it does, it dies to the Grass Knot. We taunt this thing every single time. They opt to switch out here, which makes sense. We could see Shaman Sky here. We're going to see Vicky the Empoleon, so this thing is going to get taunted, so it can't set up a Roost, which is obviously very nice. I'm expecting probably a Flip Turn. We could see an Ice Beam, but if we do, that's fine. We go for the taunt, which is obviously very nice. They have to go for an attack here. I am tempted to stay in, and I think that's what I do. I don't think they can KO me with a... the Ice Beam, and I don't think they are going to go for Ice Beam here. I think they're going to predict me to swap. That's my assumption. Ice Beam does 59 to 70% if you're modest, but I don't think you are. I think you're going to be more on the bulky side. So it does 52 to 61. If I'm at 215, I'm at 72%. So I should always be able to live even after the chip. I don't want other Pokemon to come in for free, so I think I click Grass on here, predicting them to swap. They could go for Flip Turn here. This is going to do a decent chunk of damage. I'm hoping to see Flip Turn here. That'd be best case scenario. We do see an Ice Beam. That's going to do a lot of damage to me, but we do live. So here I will just go ahead and immediately switch out. This is where I think they're going to go for Flip Turn. I think I have to go into the Redditor here and risk that. I don't think they go for Knock. I could also go into Bagpipes here, and I think that's exactly what I do, actually. I think I will go Bagpipes here, because Bagpipes can always take a hit. Cyclizar is still not switching in here, which is very intriguing to me, that it's not switching in at this point. We are going to see another Flip Turn, because these hazard stacks are really getting to my opponent. They are going to switch out here, which is fine. Let's see what wants to switch in. It's going to be the Slickazar, so it is finally going to be the Cyclizar coming in on the field. So we could absolutely see them go for the Rapid Spin here, which I think is what they're going to do. I think here every single time I go into Alomomola. I could also go into this thing, but I don't think I do that. I think I have to go into Alomomola and click the slow Flip Turn. I think that's my play every single time. I'm fully expecting a Rapid Spin here because these hazards are really getting to my opponent. and I think they're going to want them gone. They could also go for an overheat just in case I try to stay in. That's best case scenario, because then it gives me a free switch of the Jolteon. I could also Wish here, and I think I kind of want to do that. We are going to see the Terra Dragon, finally. So the Weezing can no longer Terra, which means Rapid Spin is always going to be a free button click, minus the Rocky Helmet chip. So we are going to see the Terra Dragon, Cyclizar, which is annoying, but it is what it is. I'm hoping to see a Draco miss, perhaps. That would be best case scenario. We do see that they land the Draco Meteor. It's going to do a lot of damage. I'm hopeful that it doesn't KO. It does KO, unfortunately, but then this gives me a free switch into a lot of other Pokemon. I can go into, like, a number of Pokemon, honestly. They still don't have hazard removal, and they do also lose more chip from the Life Orb. So I think here I will go into Jelly Bean, and I'm going to be happy about it. Just so that way, like, if they have to stay in and this thing dies, I think I go for Terra Blast every single time. I could also go for an Alluring Voice. I think I do have to go for Terra Blast, though. I think that's always my play. And then we can start really racking up damage against my opponent at this point. Because if this thing goes down, then that's really awesome for me. The hazards are just going to continue to stack. They do opt to switch out here. They could go into Scream Tail here, but I think I can KO on the next turn. We're going to see Lady Ting. So Ting Lu is actually going to go down here, which is also very amazing for me because now electric moves are extremely spammable. So the Ting Lu is going to go down here. So I am very okay with this. We do go for the Terra Blast here. This is a dead Ting Lu. I am okay with this. The Shaman Sky can't come in at this point because it will always die to a Terra Blast, obviously. With the Scream Tail is probably what's going to come in here if I had to guess. We could see Rocks, we could see Wish Protect. I'm fully expecting that, to be honest. Jolteon is still taking a lot of chip, which I don't enjoy. The nice thing about the Shaman Sky, it doesn't outspeed me, so Jolteon will always be able to revenge. And if Shaman Sky goes down, we're going to see the Filipino, which is going to be the Scream Tail, which does make sense. Yeah, we continue to see the Heavy Duty Boots at this point. I will go for a Volt Switch here. If they opt to go for Rocks and get greedy, then Tornadoes can come in for free and fire off a Taunt. I'm expecting the Wish Protect strat here at this point. I think they kind of have to go for that. I could also go into the Redditor here. I don't think I do that, though. I think Hawkeye is just a very free swap, just so that way I can continue to recover HP. I am okay with this general situation. We're going to see a Wish here, which is fine. I think here they have to go for a Protect, so I will go for a Taunt. They could also go into Empoleon, but if they do, yeah, they go for Protect here, that's fine. I think here they have to switch into Empoleon. Oh, okay, that's interesting, actually. So that's good to know. I didn't know that's how that worked. I think here, regardless, every single time I go for Taunts again. Cyclizar could come in, but that's fine. It's going to take a lot of damage. I could just click Grass Knot here on the swap, and I kind of want to do that. I'm kind of tempted to do that. Even if Cyclizar comes in, it's going to take a chunk of damage. So I am tempted to do that, especially because if we can punish a switch, that's phenomenal for us. Grass Knot doesn't really... I don't want this thing to wish past into anything else, though, so I think I have to go for Taunt here, unfortunately. I think they are going to switch out here. I'm hoping not to see Cyclizar. I'm hoping to see Empoleon. Empoleon's always been the switch in at this point, but I would also not be surprised to see Cyclizar switch in, especially for Slowking Galar. I think... I mean, again, Empoleon could also be a very easy switch, but yeah. Okay, so they do have to stay in, so I got this read right. I'm very glad about that. We could see as an attack here. We could see what their one attack is. They do try to go for a Wish, but they fail. I will go for a Grass Knot here every single time. No, I could go for a Bleak Wind. I think here, I could also double, because I think they have to switch out here. I could double into Jolteon. I still don't know what attack this thing has. It could deal a lot of damage if I'm not careful. I also have lost my Wish Passer, so that's really vital information to know that I lost my Wish Passer. I don't want the Cyclizar to come in for free, but I also don't want the Empoleon to come in for free. So I really wish I had U-Turn at this point. It is what it is. I don't have U-Turn, but I could go into Jelly Bean here, but if they stay in, then that's really brutal. So I think here I will go for... I could go for Sludge Wave as well. But I think what I do... I think they have to swap. I don't know what their final move is. That's the thing. I don't know what their final move is. They haven't clicked it. So I think here, I'm going to say Frick It. If the Empoleon comes in, fine. I go for a Sludge Wave. They stay in, which is very interesting. So we get a lot of damage off on this thing, which is phenomenal. And we get the Poison, which is going to really hurt the longevity of this Pokemon. And we're finally going to see what the final attack of this Pokemon is. They were probably predicting a swap. They do go for Play Rough, and it does KO me, unfortunately. So we now know this thing's full moveset, and it can only click Play Rough at this point. And and you're getting heavily chipped by poison. This is a phenomenal situation for me. I think here I go into Jelly Bean and I just click Thunderbolts for free. Because I can KO this thing, I can KO Shaman Sky, I can KO, like, I can do a lot of damage against everything at this point. So this is a great situation for me. I click Thunderbolt here. This thing, if Jolteon stays on the field, this thing can't come back in at all, and if it tries to Wish Pass, then it dies on the next turn, essentially, which is a phenomenal situation for me, because I can always, like, I have an attack on every single one of my Pokemon that can KO this thing after Poison, so this is a phenomenal situation for me. This is going to be a very long game, which I apologize for. But, this is a very, very good situation for me, I will say. We are in a phenomenal position. Cyclozar can't come in to get the hazards off the field. Shaman Sky can't come back in. We're essentially only taking damage from Burn Chip at this point, which is phenomenal. Which is why I'm expecting the Weezing will eventually come in here. Maybe double into Empoleon, which would also make sense. And go from there is my main expectation. Also, Weezing can no longer turn to the Terra Ghost, so it can no longer touch Slowking. So this is also a very good situation for us. Jolteon here looks phenomenal. They do opt to save this thing, which is very interesting to me. I'm hoping to see the Cyclozar. The Cyclozar coming in here is phenomenal, because it's going to take a lot of damage here. Even if it doesn't straight up KO, this is still fine. The Thunderbolt is a very free button click here. Bada bing, bada boom. It does a lot of damage. We can just Volt Switch out on the next turn if we want to. I think here what I do, I think I will stay in and just click Thunderbolt again. There's zero reason for me to switch out. Cyclozar will die, which is phenomenal. This thing is dead. So Cyclozar goes down here. Jolteon is putting in a lot of work at this point, which is amazing for us. We guarantee outspeed everything. The Screamtail will die. The Empoleon will die. I'm expecting maybe the Screamtail will try to get a couple turns of Protect off. That's my assumption. And if that's the case, that's fine. The Empoleon can't come in because it'll die. The Weezing will take a lot of damage from Volt Switch, and I can just go into my Slowking for free. They could double into him, and they can't double into Empoleon versus this thing. We are going to see the Weezing come in, which does make sense here. This is a very free Volt Switch for me, because I don't want to take damage on this Pokemon. Volt Switch, there is no ground type here to switch in. If we can get this thing weakened down, Jolteon wins the game. The next time Jolteon comes in, it wins the game basically, which is a phenomenal situation for us to be in, and I am more than happy with that. And as long as Empoleon stays a little bit chipped, we need the Empoleon to make sure it stays chipped, even if it's just a little bit, because I don't know the HP stats on it, so if we can, because Empoleon can still possibly tank a Thunderbolt, which is something we do have to keep in mind. So we have to be very careful with Jolteon at this point. But we are looking phenomenal right now. I am very okay with this entire situation. Jolteon can just always come in, like Volt Switch, pick up a KO, do a lot of fun things here. They can't go into Empoleon because Empoleon will take too much damage from a Volt Switch, and that's amazing for us. The Fortress can get the last layer of spikes up. They do opt to stay in, which does make sense here. Again, this is an absolutely phenomenal situation for us at this point. I think here I go into the Redditor and I go for Psychic Noise every single time, because of the fact that nothing is going to want to switch in against the Psychic Noise, even if it's to try to recover. We're going to see a Flamethrower here, that's fine. I think here they might try to let Weezing go down, which I am okay with. I go for Psychic Noise every single time, just to get some damage off on this thing, or like just to KO this thing, or get damage on Empoleon and prevent it from healing. Same with Screamtail, same with Shaman. We do see the Pain Split here, but we are still going to do a lot of damage with the Psychic Noise, which is great. Bada bing, bada boom. That's straight up KO actually, which is phenomenal for us. So yeah, that is great. So we could see the Empoleon come in here, which if it does, we go into the Fortress for free. We could also see Screamtail come in to try to set up one more layer of rocks, which would make sense. We could see the Empoleon come in. I think the Empoleon's the most likely. We are going to see the Shaman actually come in, which I am okay with. I think here I just fire off a Sludge Bomb, because I should be able to tank an Earth Power, I'm pretty sure. Let me see here. Shaman, Sky. Assuming, let's see, your choice specs, you have to be choice specs at this point to do as much damage as you are. I'm going to go into Slowking. Earth Power does not do that much damage, and Sludge Bomb will KO, so I will click Sludge Bomb here. I will click Sludge Bomb here every single time. We have the Shuka Berry for this thing specifically. It cannot do anything to me, and that'll KO me. We see a Healing Wish. Really well played. Very interesting, though. I am okay with this. The Screamtail is probably going to be the switch, if I had to guess, which I am okay with. Again, this is completely fine. We were going to see the Sludge Bomb. So yeah, the win con at this point is probably going to be Stall with Screamtail, but that's fine. I think here we're going to see Filipina, which is going to be the Screamtail. We are going to see that they get their poison healed, which is fine. I'm okay with that. This, again, we're still in a phenomenal position for us. That's the biggest threat to Slowking out of the way and gone. Like, that's fine. And yeah, I just go for... We know your final move is Play Rough. We know your full moveset at this point. I can literally just go into Bagpipes and just click the final layer of spikes and just prevent hazards from going up, which I do very much like. I could also just click Taunt. I think I'm just going to go into Bagpipes, though, because we don't need Bagpipes at this point. We are going to see the double. Very interesting. We are going to see the double here. Into the Empoleon, so that's fine. I'm okay with this. You could Roost here, that's fine. I have Pain Splits on my Fortress, which you know at this point. And this just gives me a very free opportunity to collect spikes. This is a phenomenal situation for us. We're going to switch into Bagpipes here. I think ultimately we will win this game. That was a very fire set on these Shaman, by the way. A mad respect to that. I will set my final layer of spikes for free just because I can and I want to. We are going to see the Roost here, that's fine. I click Pain Split next turn. Because regardless, like, people will, like, get hurt by the Pain Splits. We're going to see the spikes come up on the field, which is always nice. So Screamtail is not going to enjoy that, and I just click Pain Split here every single time. Because if you want to stay in and damage me, that's fine. We do see the Ice Beam here. Again, that's fine. We go for the Pain Split, bada bing, bada boom, to do a little bit of more damage, which is always nice. Here I will go ahead and double into the Redditor, and I will click Taunt. I'm very glad I made this swap into Taunt. I thought about having Calm Mind, but now I'm very, very glad that I had this as my item, as my full move set. That is very nice for me. So we're gonna see another Ice Beam. That's fine. I think here we're gonna see 3 minutes until battle ends. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We're gonna see Knockoff. That's gonna do a decent chunk of damage. By a decent chunk, I mean a decent chunk. We're going to lose our Shuka Berry. That's fine. We're going to go for a Taunt. That is fine by me as well. I will go ahead and double back into Fortress because I can and I want to. You can't Roost here. I will go into Fortress now, and you're not going to like that, but I am going to like that, and it is going to be good. We're going to send in Bagpipes here. You can only go for attacks. You could go for, yeah, you're just going to continue to go for Ice Beam here, which is fine. I really wish I had a slow pivoting move, but I don't, unfortunately. We are going to see the crit. That's fine. I go for Pain Split here. Again, you can't, like, you basically can't switch out Empoleon at this point. We are going to see the Ice Beam, which is good. I'm just going to continue to Pain Split here. We are going to get Frozen, which is a bit unfortunate at this point. I am okay with that, though. Again, if we can prevent this thing from getting a Roost off, that would be the most ideal. So I think here what I should do, maybe I go into the Redditor now. I think that's what I will do, because if I keep these Pokemon alive, then we're fine. That's kind of my main thing right now. So I think here what I do, I will go into Fortress, or I will go into the Redditor. Again, like, I can essentially win with Jolteon at this point. Ice Beam, that's fine. That does diddly squat to me, and we see that they shake off the Taunt. That's fine. I will go for another Taunt. Yeah, I will go for another Taunt here. That's fine. We could see a Roost here. We just see a knockoff. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm just go for a Taunt here. That's good. Yeah, it just prevents you from being able to Roost. I think here I go back into Bagpipes here because there's no reason for me not to. And we're going to just do that. Yeah, we need to get Screamtail in at this point. I think at this point we have the game. It just comes down to, like, it literally just comes down to whatever situation we're in. Knockoff, that's fine. Okay, so 60, that's fine. Let's see, can Empoleon KO me with anything? They're wanting to stay in with me. So Empoleon, can that KO Jolteon? I don't think so if it is Terra Ice. But I don't like how much damage I take from the burn. I think I just double back into the Redditor. Just to prevent my everything from going down. We should be able to win at this point. Again, I'm really sorry. I didn't want it to get down to this. We're just going to see an Ice Beam, which is fine. That is fine by me. We are going to get Frozen here as well. But that's fine. I'm okay with that. I think here I'm just going to go ahead. I don't know who exactly is going to win this game. I think now I just go back into Bagpipes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back into Bagpipes here. I'm just gonna keep doubling. I hate doing this, but it's basically how I win the game. Not my favorite way to start off this run, but I mean, hey, we got something off at least, so we should be able to win this because we have more Pokemon. I think that's how that works, or maybe it's total HP. I'm not too sure, but I think regardless, we still have more HP. I don't know who wins here. We defeated Darude. Okay, so we officially win. I don't know how this is going to count in the standings. Again, I'm really sorry that's how that game turned out, but I will gladly take it. GG's to my opponent. Again, I'm really, really sorry. This is definitely going to be more like a movie situation, I think, where you can fall asleep to these games. But, so, yeah, again, I think we just get a +1 diff, is my guess. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I'll have to talk with the heads on that. But, yeah, so we get a dub, though, which is great. That's good for us moving forward. So, once again, GG's to my opponent. I'm really sorry that that's how that game turned out. And thank you for being patient with me. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Peace out, mates! Woo! So, there was actually some confusion after this game, as neither me nor Darude realized this, but one of the rules in the tournament doc stated that if a game goes to timer, it has to finish on Showdown. The main issue with this is neither one of us really had the time to recreate this game, nor do we really want to, especially since there were so many hacks that went on during the last bit of this battle, and both of us would have absolutely done different plays had we realized that this game couldn't finish to timer. After discussions were had, it was decided that the most fair thing would be for me to take the 1-0 victory, so this counts as a win for your boy. Hopefully this all makes sense. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and move on to week 3. Also, a quick side note, but for whatever reason my Switch was muted during this game, so unfortunately there won't be any noises coming from the moves or the Pokemon, but thankfully that doesn't happen in the other 2 games. Regardless, I hope you enjoy this next match. Alrighty, so this is the second game I'm playing, which I think this is game 3, so you guys will have just seen game 2. I know the only Terra here is going to be Terra Grass Vikavolt, so that's good to know. I don't know what the results of the week 2 game are yet, because we're still trying to figure that out. I'll explain that in the post-commentary probably, but yeah. So we're going to see Skarmory, Hisuian Zoroark, Vikavolt, Rillaboom, Raging Bolt, and the Cinderace. No Palafin and no Comfey are kind of surprising to me. Very glad not to see the Cincino, Clodsire, or Comfey. That is very nice, and obviously no Poochyena is here either, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is... I was expecting Palafin, but I'm very glad not to see it. I'm very glad it's not going to be like a substitute bulk upset or anything like that. So I could lead Sleeves, I could lead a couple of Mons here. I don't know exactly what I want to lead. I think maybe Purple Rain's the best lead, because, well, I mean, Rillaboom would suck. Rillaboom would definitely suck a lot, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe I lead Fortress, actually. No, I don't lead Fortress, because I'm really scared of Hisuian Zoroark lead. That's my main concern right now. I think Galarian Slowking is a solid lead. I think I should be able to absorb a hit from even that Hisuian Zoroark. Let's see, Zoroark, Hisui. If your choice specs, yeah, we should always be able to eat a hit from Zoroark. So I think I'm going to lead the Redditor here, just so that way I can get guaranteed damage off on something, and I can always tank a hit versus something. The sooner we get Jolteon into Terra, the better. Jolteon's always going to be my Terra. I put a little Mala as a Terra of Water just in case, but I'm always going to be Terraing Slowking instead. So good luck, have fun to my opponent. I'm very, very excited for this game. Hopefully it doesn't last as long as the game 2. A little bit of a spoiler, this is actually a couple hours after the game 2. We're currently still trying to figure out how we are going to be doing that, but yes, good luck up to my opponent, and I'm actually going to be battling them for another league very soon this week as well. We're going to see Skarmory come in, so that's probably going to be hazard stacking, which is fine. This thing is not Terra, apparently, so I am okay with that. I could Calm Mind here. I don't think there's anything that this thing wants to... I mean, it could Whirlwind me, which could be annoying, so I think a Flamethrower. We're probably going to see hazard stack, but if we do, that is fine. We're just going to see a Shadow Ball, which we will eat this up for days. Yeah, we will always eat this. Oh, wow. Oh, that's Zoroark. Okay, that's Zoroark. That's good to know. Okay, so yeah, I'm very glad that I led this thing to eat this attack from the Zoroark. That's very nice. Really, really well played. I don't know if that tells me anything. Definitely tells me it's not Specs, that's for sure. It looks like it might be... I don't know exactly, but this gives me a very free switch into Fizz, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. They could predict that. They could go for a U-turn, which is actually really concerning if they go for a U-turn. I don't know if a U-turn would KO me outright, but it would do a lot of damage. I know that for sure. Let's see, U-turn would not KO me. It would not KO me, but it would do a lot of damage, so I do have to be very careful about that. I hope they don't go for a U-turn here. I didn't think about that until literally just now, but that's fine. At the very least, we did still do a lot of damage to this thing. I can't remember if we saw lefties or not, but regardless, that's a lot of damage on this Zoroark, which is very nice. We could see a double. We do see that they switch out here. I'm curious to see what they go into. It could be Steel. Okay, this is the actual Skarmory. I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. Let's see, actual Skarmory versus Hoopa Unbound. Let's see. I could be rocking a few things here. Body Press is 39 to 46%. I think here I kind of want to click Dark Pulse. I think that could be fun, and especially if we get a flinch, that'd be really good here. So I could also just fire off a Future Sight. A Future Sight is also pretty reliable, but I don't want to take too much damage on this thing. So I think maybe what I do here is I just click Dark Pulse. Yeah, we're just gonna fire off Dark Pulse. If this thing, it takes a lot of damage, and they get the flinch. Let's go. This is massive. I just click Dark Pulse again, and either Skarmory goes down or something else is taking a lot of damage, which is absolutely phenomenal for us. And yeah, Skarmory is no longer a major threat. This is why I brought Hoopa Unbound. I mainly brought Hoopa Unbound because of Hisuian Zoroark, and then I realized, like, it actually puts in a lot of work against my opponent's entire team. My opponent does not have a Dark type, so Psychic moves are very spammable. I'm hoping to set up a Future Sight at some point. They do opt to save Skarmory, which does make sense, and we're going to see DK, which is going to be the Rillaboom. Okay, so Rillaboom is going to hit the field here. This gives me a very free switch into the Fortress. Fortress is always going to be the switch in for this. If we get hit with a knockoff, that's not going to be ideal. We do a decent amount of damage. I'm curious if that is Assault Vest. Let's see, Rillaboom. Let's see. Yeah, it absolutely is. It's definitely bulky. It might not be Assault Vest. It might be, I'm not too sure, but I think here I just go into Bagpipes every single time. For free, because I literally can and I want to, and I could just set up a first layer of spikes. I don't think I do that here though, because there are too many Pokemon that can come in for free against Fortress. We could see the double here. We could see them actually click U-turn, which would also make sense. I think if they click U-turn, I might be able to restore my HP with the grassy terrain though, so I would still have Sturdy, which is good to know. We are going to see a U-turn here, which is fine. I think we might still be able to restore HP enough. We could see the Raging Bolts. We could see Cinderace. I think Cinderace makes the most sense here, personally. And if we see Cinderace come in, that's my switch into a Alomomola. For free. Again, literally for free. I don't think Cinderace gets any grass-type attack that I can think of, even if it's combined with terrain. I also have to keep in mind Court Change is a thing, too, so I have to be careful about that. We're going to see Messi. That's definitely going to be the Cinderace. Let's see here. Cinderace, do you get a grass-type attack? I think you might get an electric attack of some kind. You do get Trailblaze, but that's not going to do that much damage, and you're going to take damage from the Rocky Helmet anyways, so that's fine. And if you are Trailblaze, I think that's fine. I think, yeah, we should still be able to eat that decently well, I imagine. Cinderace, yeah, we should still be able to eat that. Let's see, Trailblaze. Trailblaze is going to do 13 to 15% without the grassy terrain. It does 17 to 20% with it. We're just going to see a Pyro Ball. That makes sense. The nice thing about not seeing a, the Clodsire is the fact that Flip Turn is extremely spammable here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click Flip Turn. Absolutely no reason for me not to at this point. They could go for, again, they could go for a Trailblaze, but then I just immediately swap back into a Alomomola, or I go into another Pokemon. Like, I can do a lot of stuff here. So this is fine. We could see Rillaboom be a switch back in. That could just go into Fortress. I could just go into a few other mons, really. So we are doing okay. The Clodsire not being here is amazing for Jolteon as well. The Vicavolt's by far and away going to be the biggest threat that I am afraid of. The nice thing about Vicavolt, though, is it's not boosted by Terra Grass, so from the grassy terrain. We are going to see DK come in, so that's fine. That's what I pretty much expected. Will fire off this Flip Turn. We'll see if this is Rocky Helmet. I doubt it is. We are going to see that it is not Rocky Helmet, which does make sense. I think if we saw lefties, I might be wrong with that. I could go into Sleeves. Actually, Sleeves is low-key a really good switch here. The Grassy Glide with Rillaboom would do a chunk, but I don't think it is going to be, like, I don't think it's banded. Grassy Glide would KO me if it was banded, but based on the damage it did, I don't think it is, but I still won't risk it. I think I will go into Bagpipes here. I could also go into the Redditor, but I don't really feel like absorbing a high horsepower, and I do have a feeling this might be Assault Vest, so I will go into Bagpipes here. This is a very, very free switch. I could go for Spikes. I could go for a T-Wave. I think a T-Wave is the better play here, because if this thing opts to stay in, it gets paralyzed, which is amazing for me. So I will go ahead and make this play. If the Cinderace wants to switch in, it gets paralyzed. If the Raging Bolt switches in, we have Jolteon we can switch into. We can also have a couple of other Pokemon that we can use to take advantage of as well, if we need to. Obviously, Best case scenario, we don't need to, but yeah, Raging Bolt won't be able to really touch Jolteon, which is phenomenal. I just need to be able to get the Terra off. Alright, so I'm really hoping not to see Raging Bolt here. I'm hoping maybe the Skarmory. We're going to see Long Neck. That is going to be the Raging Bolt. So not ideal, but it is okay. It is not Photosynthesis, which is good to know. I think here, I don't want to switch it to Jolteon on the off chance that they go for a Draco, because I think that would probably KO me. Raging Bolts, let's say you're Calm Mind, you're modest, you're not Booster Energy. Dragon Pulse, that's fine. We're gonna see Draco Meteor. Let's see, Draco Meteor does have a chance to KO me. I can't switch in reliably quite yet, unfortunately. So I think what I'm going to do here, I will go into the Redditor, and then I will, like, see what happens from here. I also love how Fortress is looking up at Raging Bolt. That was crazy. Maybe, let's see, next turn. Eventually, I do need to try to get Jolteon in. This is Calm Mind, like I was afraid of. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, so this is not ideal, obviously. This is definitely not ideal. I will Calm Mind in this thing's face myself, just because of the fact that we can get intel on the set. We'll be able to absorb a bit more health. And yeah, eventually we might need to sack something off to this thing, but then I guess go Terra Fairy Jolteon, and it can't really touch me, I don't think it gets really anything that can hit me with. Raging Bolt, like it could get, like it would have like Weather Ball, Terra Blast, like it has Ancient Power, it has things it can hit me with, but it's not going to do too much damage to me. It could have Earthquake, which would be kind of crazy, but even then, like you could have Heavy Slam, which would make sense actually against the Jolteon. So again, I do need to be very careful about this Mon. I need to be very careful that my answers for it don't die too quick. I need to be able to Terra Jolteon as soon as I can. That's going to be very vital for this whole situation in general. Also, again, worth noting that the Zoroark can't switch in against me now because I will know what it is. We're going to set up our own Calm Mind here, which is fine by me. I am very okay with this. So we are currently at +1. They're currently at +2. I don't know, let's see here. If they're at they're currently at +2, I'm currently at +1. That's going to be, Draco Meteor is going to be the most they can do to me, and it's going to do 55 to 65%. I think here, I continue to just set up a Calm Mind, just to make sure that they can't continue setting up in my face. We are going to see more Calm Minds here. Again, we do have Jolteon in the back. If we get one critical hit, that's amazing for us. I am a bit concerned about this set. I don't know why they're continuing to set up in my face. I'm very curious about that, for sure. Again, though, I'm not super worried. I'm not super worried currently because I have answers for it. So I think it's literally just going to come down to making sure that I don't throw the game away. I'm just going to continue setting up in this thing's face. It could have Earthquake as an attack, which would make sense, but even then, Earthquake's still not going to do too much damage to me. So I think that's what I'm going to do. They're continuing to set up, man. I don't know why they're doing this. I'm not too sure. They might be trying to, like, get a Draco off for free. I'm not sure. This is a very interesting situation for me. I'm really scared at this point, because this thing continues to set up in my face. I don't know what other moves this thing could have. Let's see. We're at +3. They're currently at +4. I'm just going to Calm Mind again. There's no reason for me not to here. They're at +5. Why are they doing this? I'm so confused. I'm genuinely so confused. I'm scared and I am confused. I don't know what this means for me. God, I don't know. I also need to know what type of set this is. Jeez, I don't know. Alright, I think here I'm just going to... If they Calm Mind to +6, they Calm Mind to +6, man. I have to make this play. We just see Calm Mind to +6. Okay, so they're at +6 now. And we're at +6. I don't know what they can do to me to KO me. I genuinely don't know what they're going to do here. I wish I knew, but I don't, and that scares me. So... I think here what I have to do, I think I kind of have to... I want to go for Sludge Wave, just to get damage off on this thing, but at the same time I don't know what I do here. I think what I'm going to do, I will go ahead and just fire off an attack. I will fire off, let's see, if they go back down to +4, Draco Meteor should never be able to two-shot me, so I think I just go for Sludge Wave here and hope for a poison. We are just going to see a Dragon Pulse. Interesting, so that's fine. We're going to do a decent chunk of damage back with the Sludge Wave, and if we get the poison, that's phenomenal. We don't get the poison, but we do see lefties, so that's good to know. I think here, now that I know that they have Dragon Pulse, I'm going to go ahead, and we also reveal our Black Sludge too. I will go ahead, click Calm Mind one more time, and then I'm going to spam Psychic Noise versus this thing. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to see another Dragon Pulse, that's fine. We need to really pray to God that we don't get crit. But this does give me another opportunity just to start spamming Psychic Noise versus this thing. Sludge Wave is also going to do a lot too, which is very good to know. I think here, firing off a Psychic Noise first is definitely more important at this point, just to prevent the healing from going off for at least a couple of turns. This is fine. We're okay in this current situation right now. I'm going to go ahead and click Psychic Noise now. We're going to see another Dragon Pulse. They're definitely hoping for a crit at this point. They're not getting the crit, thankfully. We will fire off a Psychic Noise, just so that way to prevent the healing from continuing. I do wish I had the recovery move now, but then again, I wouldn't be able to hit the Skarmory, so it just kind of is what it is. I think here I'm just going to fire off a Sludge Wave to do as much damage as I can. And yeah, they're going to continue firing off Dragon Pulse. This will open the door for Jolteon, hopefully. Fire off a Sludge Wave here, bada bing, bada boom. Do a lot of damage, hopefully get a poison. Long Neck was prevented from healing once again, that's great. I think we might be able to, I think we should be able to tank one more. And they're no longer prevented from healing, which is fine. I think I just go for, I could go for a Sludge Wave here. They're going to continue firing off Dragon Pulses. I think, unfortunately, Slow King will go down here. It's just a matter of, okay, how do I win this game? So I will go ahead. I think I fire off a Psychic Noise here just to prevent the healing from continuing. I could fire off a Sludge Wave as well, because I think Jolteon at this point, if it Terra Blasts, it'll be a physical attack. It'll do 16 to 20%. I think I'm going to Psychic Noise, actually. I will Psychic Noise. Hopefully we still live this attack to prevent the healing from going off. We don't, which is unfortunate. But now I can just go into Jolteon for free, and I click Yawn. And if they swap out at this point, then we know that it can't hit Jolteon. So I will go ahead and go... I guess I could go for a substitute as well, but I don't think there's a reason for me to do that. I think here, all I need to do at this point, I just need to go ahead and click the Terastallization button, and then I click Yawn. I think that's all I need to do. Because that'll put this thing to sleep. The substitute, I can always do that if I need to. I'll just probably do that next turn. We'll see if this thing opts to switch out. They do stay in, so I'm very curious to see what they go for here. If they go for Dragon Pulse, if they go for Earthquake, if they go for Heavy Slam or something like that, that would absolutely make sense. I'm very scared about what this set could be. So we get our Terra Fairy off, which is great. We fire off a Yawn, so that's very good. Let's see what this Raging Bolt wants to hit us with. They're going to hit us with the Hyper Voice. Really well played. Okay, so they are at Hyper Voice, but that does mean that now they will be put to sleep next turn, which is very important. The hazard stacking is, or the recovery here is annoying, but it is what it is. I think here what I do, I think I go into Bagpipes and then I Pain Split. I think that's what I do here. Because, yeah, I think they're going to try to KO me at this point. We do have Sturdy, so we can live any attack. I will go for Pain Split here. And then this thing will be put to sleep, and then I go into Mienshao and I just try to KO this thing. We are going to see a Dragon Pulse here. This is going to do a lot of damage to me. And by a lot of damage, I mean take me down to Sturdy, which makes sense. And now we fire off the Pain Split. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so yeah, this thing is considerably chipped now, which is great. And now it comes down to figuring out how to KO this thing. Let's see if Mienshao... close combat should always be able to KO this thing, I think. Even if you're... Let's see, Max, close combat should always be able to KO this thing. So I think I have to go into this. I have to hope they stay asleep for 2 turns. That would be the most ideal situation for me. We will go into Sleeves here, and I think pray to God. We could see them swap here, that's fine if they do. They do stay asleep, which is great. I do also have Upper Hand, but Upper Hand will not KO this thing, unfortunately. So, I think what I do, I think I have to go for... I could go for Triple Axle. I think I go for CC here and pray that they stay asleep, or they don't have Thunderclap. That's kind of what I have to do here. If they switch into Zoroark, they switch into Zoroark, that's fine. I still have my Hoopa Unbound for that. We do see that they wake up, and I think, yeah, they fire off a thunderclap. GG's, well played. We lose the game now. It is what it is. That was very lucky. I guess I could have gone for upper hand, but, you know, it is what it is. We lose the game. GG's. I'm a little bit upset at that. That's annoying that that's how we go out, but it is what it is. Can't really do much about it. We will go into Fizz. I don't think we can take a Thunderclap. I think we will always die every single time, even though we are at full HP, which is unfortunate. And even if we live, there's no way we can... I mean, yeah, we could live here, but I think at this point it's basically over. So I think here I'm just going to click... I think I just have to click knock, unfortunately. We lose this battle. We're gonna go see Thunderclap here, that's fine. We do live, barely. So I guess I should have gone into this thing. We do knock off the item, which is great. I guess we could see a Thunderclap here. Do I think a Thunderclap is coming out here? Probably. Is there a way I can prevent that? Not really. I am very upset that this is how this game went. That's very annoying. I think here what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Fortress. I think that's kind of what I have to do at this point. Let Fortress go down. I have to Healing Wish with my other, the Lomomola. But they do go for Thunderclap and they do fail, which is good. I think here what I'm going to do now, on the off chance that they try to go for it again, I will set up a layer of spikes. That's all I can really do. We do see a Dragon Pulse here. That does make sense. I die. A Lomomola, I doubt will be able to tank a Dragon Pulse. I think it will just always die. It should always die. Hopefully my opponent gets greedy. That would be pretty epic if they did. We're going to send in Purple Rain. I'm going to go for a Healing Wish and hopefully pick up a KO versus this Mon. That would be great, but I doubt it. A Healing Wish. And go from there. Yeah, that sucks. This really sucks. Again, if we had managed to get lucky with the sleep turns, then we won this game. I could have played that a little bit better, too, to be fair, but again, it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. I guess I could go for Future Sight, but I think that still counts as an attack, so I'm just going to go for Future Sight. I think Thunderclap should still pop here. Yeah, it does. Okay, so GG's to my opponent. Well played. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next game. At least it was shorter, can't complain. It was definitely shorter, but that really sucks. GG's again to my opponent, well played and well prepped. And yeah, see you guys in the next battle. So before we get started with Game 4, I wanted to mention that unfortunately during the first few turns of this match, I failed to realize that my microphone was muted. Thankfully, I noticed this around turn 3 or 4 and I turned my mic back on, but there won't be any commentary for the first few seconds of this battle. Also, if you made it to this point in the video, type pickles in the comments section so I know you're a real one. That's basically it, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and move on to Game 4. I just realized that I haven't been talking this entire time, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and leave like a thing here. I apologize for that. Willy Wonka the Royal is going to be the Galarian Weezing, so we actually hard double here into the Mienshao, which I'm okay with. I think I can still just go for a U-turn versus this Pokemon, and then that gives me a very free swap into Galarian Slowking, so I am okay with this. I have been talking this entire time. I'm currently sick. This is game 4 out of the games I've played, which is also ironic because this is the 4th game that I think in this little movie that I'm making here, assuming I'm making a movie out of this, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards at this point. So this is a very interesting situation for me. Yeah, so Willy and Wonk is also a very fire name for this Galarian Weezing. But yeah, we're gonna fire up a U-turn. Let's see if this is Rocky Helmet. I assume it is. Yes, it is Rocky Helmet. That makes sense. So yeah, the layer spikes is a bit annoying. I'm glad I realized now that my microphone was muted. I'm glad I actually kind of looked at that. I'm gonna go into the Redditor here every single time. They're probably going to go for a Willow, which will suck, but we have a Black Sludge to help counter that, and we also have Regenerator too. They could also miss their Will-O-Wisp. They just go for a Raw Flamethrower, actually, which is a very decent play. That does make sense. I think here what I do, I think I go for a Chilly Reception. They could stay in here, but that's fine. I can scare this thing out with a different Pokemon. I will go ahead and click Chilly Reception. Also, this thing has really no great way of healing aside from Pain Split, which is very nice. So we're doing okay thus far. The Terras for Vaporeon are electric, the Terra for Weezing is steel, those are the two Terras. So we are going to see the hard swap here, maybe Greninja is possibly going to come in. This will also open up the door. This is going to be Vaporeon coming in actually, which is very intriguing to me. So the Vaporeon is going to come in, we go ahead and fire off our Chilly Reception, which is nice. And I think, I don't know what I want to do here. I could go into my Alomomola, but I don't think I do that here. I think there's a few things I could do. Actually, can Mienfoo KO? How much damage can Mienshao, not Mienfoo. Vaporeon, assuming you're defensive. No, close combat will never KO. This could give me a decent switch into my Alolan Slash, though, and get off a Rapid Spin. Because even if Ceruledge comes in here, Ceruledge, it'll do, Earthquake will do a crap ton of damage to it, so that's very nice. I think I can kind of do that now. If the Ceruledge does come in here, I still think this is the right play to make. I think, honestly, I could also just go for an Earthquake right now as well. I don't think this Vaporeon can ever KO me, and I threaten it out with an Earthquake. I think Ceruledge could definitely come in here on the Rapid Spin to prevent the Rapid Spin from popping off, so I will go for an Earthquake here. Also, it is revealed that this thing is lefties as well. They could Terra here. They don't Terra. They actually stay in as we go for Earthquake, which is fine. That's okay. We're just seeing a Wish. Okay, so they are going to Wish Pass here, probably into the Gren. I could definitely see Gren. I could also see this thing staying in and going for that. So I think what I do here, I will go ahead and click Rapid Spin. I'll go ahead and click Rapid Spin to force the hazards off the field now. The Greninja is going to have a much harder time setting up a layer of hazards at this point. This also opens up my Galarian Slowking a lot more, so I'm okay with doing this. We're going to see a Scald here, and it is going to kill my Slash, which is a bit unfortunate. I did not want that, but that's okay. So my Terra is now dedicated to my other Mon. We see the Wish pop off, that's fine. I think here what I do, I will go into Galarian Slowking. I could also go into my Alomomola, but I don't think I'm going to do that here. I could also even go Hawkeye. Hawkeye here's not a decent, Hawkeye is a decent, is what I meant. I think here what I do, I'm going to go back into the Redditor, actually. And then if they decide to go for an attack, they decide to go for an attack. I don't think they will here. I think they're going to try to go for a Wish. I think, I don't know. It's hard to say. I could go for a Psychic Noise. I could also go for Shadow Ball. I think I'm going to go for Chilly Reception just in case they try to... Okay, they just go for Protect, so they want to see what I go for here, which does make sense. So I will go ahead and go into... Maybe now I go Mienshao, or I can go into my... I think I want to go here into my Torn, actually. I think I'm okay with going into Torn. I don't think Terra Electric can KO me at this point. I very highly doubt it can. No, there's no way it can KO me, I don't think. So we've seen Scald, Wish Protect, Electric's probably going to be for just like, maybe it's for like Jolteon, which would make sense. So the Galarian Weezing's probably going to be the Terra. I will go ahead and click Knockoff here. Knockoff is a very free button click at this point, so I will go ahead and click that button. Even if the Greninja comes in, it can only ever get one layer of spikes up if they opt to go for that, so that is fine by me. Vaporeon can never win as long as my Galarian Slowking is still alive. so we do have to keep that in mind. Hopefully this isn't going to be a very long game. We are going to safely fire off our knockoff, which is great, so they lose the leftovers here at this point, which is amazing. We are going to just see a Scald, which is fine. They are going to go for that. The snow stops here, which is fine. I kind of want to go for a Bleak Windstorm now, just to get some damage off on this thing. I could also very freely go for a U-turn into Purple Rain, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I will go for the U-turn into Purple Rain. I think that's a very free button click. Even if they go for a Wish Pass, that's fine. Oh, but we've also seen Flip Turn, so we now know this Vaporeon's full moveset. It's completely walled by Alomomola, which is very nice. So I will go into Alomomola here. I don't care if I get burned. The only thing that hurts with the burn is the Flip Turn. So this is fine by me. We are going to see another Skull. That's fine. I am okay with this. I think now what I do, I can very freely go for a Wish here at this point. It's a very free button click, so I think that's kind of what I'm tempted to do. Greninja could come in and be annoying, but I don't care. I think I still go for the Wish, and then bring in a Pokemon for free. We are going to see that they just actually stay in and go for a Scald, which I am okay with. We are going to fire off our Wish successfully, and now I will go for a Baton Pass because they're probably not expecting me to have that tech. They're probably like, okay, I'm going to just try to get some damage off. We do safely fire off our Wish. I think now I go into my... honestly, I could go Fortress here and immediately just start setting up, but I don't know if I do that. I could go Sleeves. I could go into a few Pokemon here. My main concern right now is Greninja getting up hazards at this point. So I think what I do here, I think I go into the Redditor and I go for a Chilly Reception. This Vaporeon can just never break my team, so my goal is to try to make sure that Greninja can't set up a layer of spikes and just be annoying. So they might expect me to swap here. They might go for a Protect. I'm okay with either or, because then I can just go back into a Alomomola, and then I might just Baton Pass immediately after that. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. So yeah, Vaporeon's Terra Electric purely for most likely the Jolteon, which does make sense. And we are going to see a Protect, so that's fine. I'm trying to think, how can I beat this Vaporeon right now? Because the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the Greninja to come in for free, if I can help it. So that's kind of the situation I'm in right now. I think I just go back into Purple Rain, and then I just click Baton Pass again. Yeah, we're in an okay situation right now. I think we're in an okay situation. This Vaporeon's going to be a bit annoying to deal with, but again, we have Psychic Noise for it, so we should be fine. I'm just going to click Baton Pass. It's slowly going to get stalled out. My goal is to try to bait any other Pokemon in, so that way we can just weaken the team now. But they are going to go for a Scald here, and we do just go for a Baton Pass, so I am okay with this. I could just go into Torn and click U-turn. I could go into Bagpipes here, honestly, and then go for an Iron Defense, which could be a decent play. But I think here what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the Redditor. If they go into Greninja, then that's fine. Greninja has Surf, Dark Pulse, Spikes. I think now I will go ahead. I think I will click Psychic Noise. Psychic Noise stops the Greninja from coming in for free. It'll stop this thing from getting healed. They do go for a Wish here, which is fine. I can go into my Mienshao from here if they do decide to stay in, and go from there. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and Chilly Reception. We are losing our pivoting move, so we do have to be very careful with that. We are going to see a Flip Turn here, so my guess is they're going to try to get Greninja back in safely, which does make sense. I can immediately scare that out with my Torn or my, like a few other Pokemon as well. Greninja. Let's see here. Yeah, I can just freely go into Mienshao and just click U-turn. Good Gear the Gourmet, so it's actually not going to be the Gren, it's going to be Donphan. Very interesting to me. I am very okay with this, actually, because then this gives me a very free switch. I could go into... Actually, you know what? Yeah, I could very freely go into my Fortress here. I think Fortress is a decent switch, although, to be fair, the main problem with that right now is the fact that... let's see here. The fact that it has knockoff. So let's see, Donphan. Triple Axle against the Donphan really does not do that much damage, which is crazy. So I think I'm going to go into Hawkeye and I'm going to click Knockoff. I'm going to start weakening things down because I can for free. If I can get the item on this thing knocked off, that's great. So I will go for Knockoff here. We could see if rocks hit the field now, which would be rough, I think. We are going to fire off the Knockoff successfully, which is great. Do we see rocks? We do see rocks. Okay, I am heavy duty boots on this Pokemon, so that's fine. I don't know how much, let's see, Manchild is like strong against rocks, so we're fine. I do kind of wish I didn't lose my spinner at this point. Bagpipes is fine. Yeah, the rest of these Pokemon are, it's okay. It'll be a nuisance, but it's okay. I think here I go for a Bleak Wind. I think I can go for that pretty freely here, so I will go for a Bleak Wind now. We do land our Bleak Wind, thankfully, so we do a lot of damage to this Mongery. We've got momentum now, which is great. We're just going to see Knockoff here. I should have thought about that. So we do lose our boots here, but I'm just going to fire off another Bleak Wind. I'm going to just stay on the offensive here. Yeah, Tornadus is going to be a lot less useful now at this point, so I'm okay with playing a bit more aggressive with Torn now. It is what it is, but yeah, Donphan getting chipped here is great. If we can just prevent the Vaporeon from getting off a heal, that would be very nice. That's kind of my goal at this point, is to prevent Vaporeon from popping off too much. We could also see Terra Electric for the Bleak Wind Storms, so we could see that for Torn in the future. The rocks still aren't going to do more damage than I regenerate, so I do have to keep that in mind, but we'll always be at a minimum of 75% now from here on out. So my opponent is playing this very well. We do land our second Bleak Wind, so Donphan does go down to the second Bleak Wind. This is very nice for me. I am very okay with this. If the Greninja comes in, then I just click U-turn and KO it. If anything else comes in, I still just click U-turn. Even if it's the Zanazenta, I still click U-turn. We are going to see the Vaporeon come in, so they are going to try to Wish Pass, it looks like. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. I will go ahead. They've lost their leftovers at this point. I will go for a U-turn here. I think Slowking's a very decent switch here, especially now that Donphan is gone. That's very, very nice for me. We could see a Wish here as well. Something I do have to keep in mind as well, I could Wish Pass with my Lomomola still, so that's still an option on the table for me. So I think what I do here on the Wish, obviously a Skull Burn would really suck right here, but I think I'm still going to go into the Redditor here. If they go for Flip Turn, that's fine. I just go for another attack. Let's see what they go for. They do go for Wish, so I think here I'm just going to go ahead, click my, oh my god, are you serious? Okay, well, I have to redo 20 minutes battling. Great, okay. This is fine. That's a first for me, but it is what it is. Alright, well, I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry. Alrighty, so we are back. I apologize for that. It honestly wasn't too bad recreating, so I'll take it. We are going to go for the U-turn here. We do have a bit more damage on Torn, but in return, I think we do have a bit more damage on this thing. Not that it'll matter, but it's fine. It is what it is. Hopefully, yeah, we definitely have more damage on this thing, but hopefully that won't matter. They did say they went for a Wish, so I am tempted to go into Purple Rain here. I could also go into the Redditor. The only thing is I'm scared of Greninja coming out for free and spamming the spikes. Something I do have to keep in mind, though, is the fact that they don't know that I don't have Rapid Spin on my Fortress. So that is something important to note. I think I do still go... I could go into Sleeves. No, I think I go Purple Rain, actually. I think I go Purple Rain, and then I'm going to click Baton Pass. I think that's my best play for me to make here, unfortunately. The rocks will be annoying, but there's not much we can do about it. They are going to go for the Wish, that's fine. We could see a Protect here. If we do, that's fine. I'm just going to Baton Pass. I'm expecting a switch into Gren. That's my prediction with this play anyways. We are going to see a Flip Turn. They are going to take more damage to the Rocky Helmet, which is fantastic for me. I really wish I had Hazards now, but again, it is what it is. Losing Sand Slasher was something I should not have done this early in the game, but it is what it is. Again, Greninja is probably going to be the mon that switches in here. Kiryu the Cherish, that is going to be Gren, so that's not ideal. We're going to fire off a Baton Pass. We do know they still have Cerulege in the back, so that's something to keep in mind. I could stay in and just click CC, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to go into Sleeves. Let's see here. Greninja versus Gren. U-turn to 79 to 94%. to an offensive set. They actually heal up all the way to full, so that's not good. So I think here what I'm going to do, I guess, God, I don't want this thing to set up in my face, but if I also don't want Ceruledge to get a free switch. I think I have to go for CC here in case they try to set up. But yeah, we aren't going to see the swap here. My guess is Ceruledge is probably going to come in. Willy Wonka the Royal, it's going to be Galarian Wheezing, so this is going to eat this up for days as we see C, which is a bit unfortunate. We do know as well that this is Rocky Helmet. I figured that out in the prep. We're going to see it here. Also, I think I U-turned on this thing and figured that out as well, so that is fine. This does give me a very free switch into the Redditor at this point. I can also go pretty freely into Purple Rain or even Bagpipes. I don't want to go into Hawkeye yet because I don't want to take too much damage on Hawkeye. I think at this point, it's going to be very hard for me to win this game. I need certain threats gone or weakened down, and it's going to be very hard for me to accomplish that goal at this point, now that the hazard stacking is going to happen. So that's a bit unfortunate. We are going to see the double here probably into Gren, if I had to guess, and they're going to try to set up a spike. You're going to see Jack D. Ripper, actually, the Paldea champion, which is going to be Ceruledge. Very interesting to me. So I don't know if they have a way that can make him one-shot me. Ceruledge. Poltergeist can actually one-shot me very reliably. So I think here what I'm going to do, I will go into Purple Rain. I could also go into Hawkeye on a Poltergeist, but there's no reason for me to, I don't think. Poltergeist does a max of 27 to 32%, assuming you have like Solar Blade. Solar Blade does 41 to 49%, it only does half. So I think here I will go into a Alomomola, just because I can and I want to. We're going to see the double here, actually, so they are going to continue to double. This is still okay for me. We're going to see Hiryu the Cherished, the Greninja, come back in here, which is fine. I will go ahead and go for a flip turn on my Alomomola. They're probably going to set up a layer spikes, but there's nothing I can do about that. I just go for the slow flip turn every single time to get damage off, and then threaten it out with a U-turn. Hopefully they don't get all 3 layers of spikes up. That would really suck here. We're going to see a layer of spikes, so that's not good. I could also just go into Torn and immediately threaten it out with a U-turn with that as well, which could cause some stress for my opponent as well, as it's a harder Pokemon to switch into. And yeah, I think I am going to do that here. We are going to take a lot of damage from the rocks, but hopefully, and actually we might take too much damage from the rocks, I won't lie. No, we should be fine. I don't think a Surf or anything like that will KO me. I will go for a U-turn here. I'm expecting another layer of spikes, either that or maybe they'll switch out. They know I'm not Scarfed at this point, so that is a no-go for me, which is fine. I think they know I'm Scarfed on my other Mon at this point. I need to get Fortress in at some point. We are going to see an Ice Beam, so that is their final move, so they are going to pick up the KO here, which is very annoying. I think we just lose here, unfortunately. There's nothing much we can do, but yeah, and we are going to see the Battle Bond as well. Yeah, we just lose. That sucks. That really sucks. Okay, so there's nothing much. There's nothing I can do. I think I just die on switch. I mean, maybe Bagpipes can live an attack, but I don't think so if it's at +1. It's not Life Orb, so maybe actually I can just go for the attack here. Surf. If I go for Surf, it's a 70, 90, 94% max. Body Press will KO from this range. I go into Bagpipes here. I do not go for Terra Ghost at this point. Actually, no, I'm going to take too much damage. Yeah, I'm going to take too much damage from the hazards, so I think they just go for the attack here. Yeah, I think we lose. That's unfortunate, but I do think we lose here, unfortunately. We could see a swap, but if we do, then we just see a swap. There's not much we can do about it, but yeah, I should die to a Surf every single time. They might not know that. They do just go for the Surf here, and we do die to the Surf. We lose. I've played this team badly. I don't want this game to continue on too incredibly long. I mean, I can go into Purple Rain, but they're just going to slowly whittle me down. Alomomola, yeah, it's going to get 2-shot anyway. I'm going to go into my Mienshao. GG's to my opponent, really well played. At the very least, it wasn't too much of a pain. Yeah, I am sad. I know for a fact there's definitely holes in this team. That's my thing right now. It's like there's a lot of holes in this team. So And I've kind of learned that throughout this process. Again, I haven't played my game 1 yet, but I know for a fact you guys have seen my game 2 and 3. Game 2 is still up in the air at this moment in time. I will go ahead and give the win to them, though, probably, unless they're... I don't want to recreate that game, there's no point. So I will probably give the win to them. And then obviously week 3, I believe, was I can't remember which one that was, so I won't say too much, but I'm definitely disappointed with how I've played this game. I'm very disappointed with how I played with this team. It is what it is. My opponent played very well. They kept the ice beam in the back very well. I should not have let Sand Slash go down. There's just a lot of things I could have done different here. So I'm going to go into Purple Rain. There's nothing much I can do. I'm just going to let them pick up the KO against me. Yeah, GG's to my opponent. Really well played. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. I will say, if the Game 5 is the game that I'm thinking of, it is a very good game. I will say Game 5 is pretty wild, so be looking forward to that. I don't know why they went for the Ice Beam here. They're just delaying the inevitable. They get the crit. They should KO me with the Dark Pulse at this next point, which I know they have, so I'm going to go for the Scald here, and I'm just going to let them pick up the KO against me. But yeah, Game 5 is really nice, so I do still encourage you guys to watch that game. But yeah, GG's to my opponent, really well played, and yeah, we'll go ahead and head on to the next game. I need some rest because your boy's still not doing too hot. GG's. Also, really love that card. I never said that. That is a really awesome card. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next game. Alrighty, so my opponent doesn't have any Terras, which immediately is a bit scary to me, so this is going to be a very interesting game for sure. Good luck, have fun to my opponent, let's freaking go. I'm probably going to lead Torn T, just because I can knock off U-Turn, that combo, and, you know, I have Bleak Wind Storm and Heat Wave in case I need that. I have a lot of pivoting in this game, which is very nice. 5 out of 6 of my Pokemon have pivoting. We see Hammerot, we see Thundy, we see Gouging, we see Grim, we see Pecha, and we see the Boulder. So that's very terrifying. Glad not to see Azelf. Yeah, this is going to be a very tough game, I think. I could lead Hawkeye here. I think my main concern is if they lead Choice Scarf Thundy T. I think that could be a slight issue. I could lead Jack Frost here. Low-key, Jack Frost is kind of a solid lead. I kind of wish I was Terra Ground now, but that's besides the point. At least Terra Water still could come in handy. I could also just lead Jolteon here. I think Jolteon's a very solid lead. I think, I really wish I had a way to get rid of screens, but I don't. So that's a bit unfortunate. My opponent does have Electric Immunity, but I am Terra Ice Jolteon, which I had mentioned to them before. I could lead Pheasantipity. I think Pheasantipity is actually a really good lead here. I think the only Pokemon that I would struggle against is the Boulder, but then I have Max Defense Alomomola for that. So I think that's what I do here. I think I'm going to lead Prince, and then if I need to switch out, I will, and go from there. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. Let's freaking do this. This is gonna be a very scary game. I don't know, I think this is my final game, so this is the third game I'm playing. I still have to play my first game at this point, so I kind of know some of the results at this point. It's definitely gonna be a very, very interesting one for sure. So let's see what my opponent is going to lead off with. They're gonna lead off with Grimmsnarl, that's what I was wondering. So we are gonna lead off with our Pheasantipity, which I am okay with. Low-key, I could just fire off a Moonblast here. A Moonblast is very free, especially if we get a thing off, so I think I'm just going to go for Moonblast here, because this Pokemon is going to have a very hard time trying to counter me. But we could see screens here immediately. I do really like firing off Moonblast here. The only switch in is Pecharunt, and Pecharunt's not going to really want to do that much damage to me anyways. So this should be fine, and then I can just U-turn into Galarian Slowking versus that thing. So we do see a T-Wave, which is annoying, but fine. Pheasantipity is meant to be more of a wall anyways, so the main issue here is that just, you know, it's paralyzed, so it's going to move slower. We do a lot of damage, which is great, and we do see that this is lefties. I'm curious to see if that is a boosting, if that's boosted or not. I'm going to go ahead and do not boosted, but like, it looks like it's definitely max HP for sure, and it looks like it has a lot of special defense bulk, so I think I'm just going to Moonblast again. I think, yeah, so we're going to see the swap here, probably in the Pecharunt if I had to guess. If Pecharunt comes in and clicks Hex, that's going to be annoying. It is going to be the Pecharunt. It probably has Hex by this point, which is a bit annoying. We are paralyzed here, which is unfortunate. I also don't have a normal type, so that's unfortunate too. I think here what I do, I could go into my Galarian Slowking. Let's see, Petra Runt. If you are, let's see, Hex does 29 to 35%, Psychic Noise and Future Sight both do a lot of damage to you. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Jack Frost actually. The reason being, I think this could be at least a decently solid check, especially if they do go for the poison move. I'm expecting a Hex though. If we see like a Nasty Plot or something, that could be really bad. We do see a Malignant Chain actually, so I could have just swapped into my other Mon. That's fine though. I think here, let's see, I have a Alolan Slash in. I think, let's see, Iron Head's pretty free. I could Terrastalize here if I wanted to. I don't know what the switch in is for this is going to be. I think if there's a good chance it's gouging. I think there's also a very good chance they try to stay in here and damage me. So I think now what I'm going to do, I think I will double back. I don't know who I want to double into though is the question. I don't think they're going to go for Malignant Chain. I think they will go for... I think they're going to go for something else. I'm going to go into Hawkeye here, I think. We do see that they stay in, I'm assuming, unless that thing is like minimum speed. But that would be shocking to me. I think even at minimum speed, it would still outspeed me. So we're going to see just a Shadow Ball. Very interesting. Okay. So we see a Shadow Ball here. Boom. That does a decent chunk of damage. We do see this with Death Drop, which sucks. So I think I will go ahead. I could click Knock here, but I don't want to risk that. I also don't want to risk getting poisoned, so I will go ahead and click U-turn. That's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. At the very least, we'll get some chip on it. We'll get some intel on the set. We'll see if it's Rocky Helmet. We'll see if it's like leftovers or something like that. This is going to be a very tough Pokemon to take out. That's a no damage whatsoever, which is unfortunate. They are also being very loud outside, which is annoying. Let's see here. I could go into Prince. If they have Shadow Ball, I doubt they have Hex, so I think we're going to go back into Prince. Because Prince can kind of 1v1 this, or at least stall it out, which is good. We are just going to see a Toxic. So this thing has Shadow Ball, Malignant Chain, Toxic. And maybe it has Hex as the final move. I doubt it. I'm just going to click Heat Wave. I really doubt. I think it's going to have Recover. I think Recover is going to be the final move. So my two Poison types wall this thing very well. And my Steel type can also put in some work against this thing too. So that's good to know. That Petron's going to have a very hard time breaking through this team. I think that is very important information to know. And again, if it has Hex, it doesn't have Recover. So we are going to see the hard swap here. So now we know that Pheasantipity is a great switch in here. We're going to see the Boulder come in. So the Boulder's going to come in here. I'm hoping to either get a Poison or a Burn on this thing. That'd be phenomenal. We go for the Heat Wave, does a decent chunk of damage. Honestly, not that bad. We see the Toxic Chain. So we do get a Toxic Chain proc, which is amazing for us. I think now what I do, I always go into a Alomomola here. This thing is now on a timer, which is absolutely amazing. We are going to go into Purple Rain now. This thing does not enjoy Purple Rain at all. The Purple Rain is just a fantastic switch in for this Mon, which is always nice. We're going to see Purple Rain come in, and we could click Flip Turn, we could click Wish, we could click Scald. We could do a lot of things here. We're going to see a Mighty Cleave, which is going to do a decent chunk of damage. And you do take Rocky Helmet Chip, so I do think you are forced to swap here. I don't see any world why you wouldn't swap, and I think because of that, I want to go for a Flip Turn here. I don't think I need to go for a Wish right now. I think I will go for a Flip Turn, because I think that is just a very free button click for me. Now, I do have to keep in mind, let's see here, Jolteon. Low-key, Jolteon does have a pretty decent matchup here, especially if Thundy goes. If Thundy is gone, then Jolteon looks really, really solid, so that's very good information to know. We're already severely weakening the team, and they're having a very hard time breaking through us, which is absolutely amazing. So we are going to see Samurott the Unrivaled. I'm curious to see if this is going to be Scarf. I'm very nervous about it being Scarf for sure. Let's see here. We don't take any damage from Rocky Helmet, so that's good to know. Now, I could double back into a Alomomola here, and I kind of am tempted to do that. Let's see here. Samurott, Hisui. Let's assume you're Scarf. Can you KO Jolteon? Razor Shell should not be able to KO me if you are Jolly Scarf. If you are Adamant Scarf, will you outspeed me? You will outspeed me if you're Adamant Scarf. And Razor Shell does have a chance to KO me. Do I think that they're going to go for that? I don't know, but it would be very nice to know if this thing was Scarfed or not. I think maybe I should actually go into Hawkeye here. I think Hawkeye is a decent bring, because then we'll get intel as to whether this thing is Scarfed. I think this is the right play to make. I can always U-turn out if I need to. I have Heavy Duty Boots on most of my Pokemon, so that's very nice. I click U-turn here every single time. And then I'm just going to go into my Alomomola if they decide to stay in. If they go for flip turn, it's going to take Rocky Helmet Chip. So this is not Scarf. That's very important information to know that this is not Scarf. Very, very good for Jolteon in the future. We're probably going to see a Ceaseless here if I had to guess. That would be my assumption. We're just going to go into Purple Rain here for free because we can and we want to. A very, very free button click here. We're probably going to see Ceaseless Edge. That makes sense. Boom. And that's fine. You're going to take a lot of Rocky Helmet Chip. I could go for a Wish here, but then that brings in Thundy, so I do need to be very careful about that. So I think I will just go for a Flip Turn here and possibly bring in the Jolteon. Knockoff here is a bit unfortunate, but that's fine. This Samurott is chipped heavily. I could go into Jolteon here. There's a few Pokemon I could honestly go into here. I think I could go Torn. Torn is a very solid lead, or very solid bring here. I don't think, unfortunately, I can go into Hawkeye. I think what I should do, I think I should go back into Hawkeye and I click U-turn. If they opt to stay in, then this thing dies. If they opt to switch out, then we get a better lead. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'll click U-turn every single time. If they opt to save this thing, that's fine. If they opt to let it go, then I can go from there. I can go into Galarian Slowking, perhaps. We are going to see that they want to save this thing, so that's good to know for the future. They're probably going to try to get one more layer of spikes up. We see Grimmsnarl hit the field. That's fine. So here, what I do every single time, I just go into my Pheasantipity. Pheasantipity has the boots, so we're not going to take damage from hazards, which is very nice. The only Pokemon that will take damage now are Alomomola and Jolteon. Those are the only two Pokemon. I think there's three. Let's see here. I think my Galarian Slowking will also take some damage too. This thing dies to a Moonblast, so that's very nice for me. So I think here I just go for a Moonblast. It's a very free button click here. If they want to set up a screen, they can, but then they risk getting poisoned on this thing. We are going to see the swap. We could see Boulder come back in here, which would make sense. We are going to see the Petrarunt actually come back in, so that's fine. I know more about this set. We're going to go for the Moonblast here. Does a decent chunk of damage. I think here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fire off a Heat Wave, see what this thing wants to go for, see how much damage it does to me. If it has Hex, it's going to do a lot of damage, but then that means it doesn't have Recover, and I can whittle this thing down with other Pokemon. We are just going to see the double, actually, which is very interesting. So we're probably going to see Boulder come back in on the Heat Wave. We're going to see Thundurus actually come in, which is very intriguing to me. We are going to be unable to move because we are paralyzed. Let's see here. Pheasantipity has a lot of special defensive bulk, so let's see here. If I go Thundurus, Therian, I am a bit scared of a Nasty Plot set, but if you're Choice Scarf, that means you're not that. Jolteon's a perfect wall. I have a lot of really good natural Pokemon. Let's see, Agility Nasty Plot is a bit scary for sure. I think here, I don't know if I want to go into Jolteon yet. I think what I do, I go into the Redditor, and then I'm going to click Chilly Reception. I think that's what I do here. I do kind of wish I had more special investment on Galarian Slowking. I'm a Fizzbulk set this week, so I do kind of wish that I was a special set, but it is what it is. We're going to see Knockoff here, which is a bit unfortunate. That's fine, though. We're going to lose our Black Sludge, so that kind of sucks. I think here I just Chilly Reception, though, and then I can go into a couple of other Pokemon here for free. Let's see, we're just going to see a U-turn, that's fine. So we're going to get regen back up, which is great. And then if we see something like the Petrarunt come back in, we can go back into Pheasantipity. Pheasantipity being paralyzed is definitely very annoying, but so far we have control over the battlefield, which is really, really important information to know, and very, very valuable for sure. So we're kind of chilling right now. We see the Petrarunt come back in, that's fine. I am okay with this. I do wish I had some hazards here. Since we don't have hazards, that's kind of unfortunate. I think here what I do, I could go into Jolteon and I could just start clicking Volt Switch. I don't think I do that though. I need this Petrarunt gone as quickly as possible, so that way I can, start getting Pokemon, I can fire off the Rapid Spin to get rid of the hazards, because the hazard stacking is definitely going to get a bit annoying. I think here what I do, I think I go for the U-turn and predict that they swap, because that's what they've been doing with this Pokemon. They don't want to stay in against the Pheasantipity. So I think that's what they're going to do here. And if they opt to stay in, then I can go into Galarian Slowking and I can Psychic Noise this thing and just take it down considerably. And this thing won't be able to do that much to me either. So, or I can even just Chilly Reception out and then go into something like the Alolan Sandslash or something like that. I have a lot of options here. We are going to see the swaps. I'm really hoping we can get this U-turn off. That'd be phenomenal for us here. We are going to see the boulder come back in, so if we can get this hit off on the boulder, that's phenomenal. We are going to be able to get the hit off on the boulder, which is amazing for us, and that's a lot of damage on the boulder. And I don't know if this thing is scarfed. It could be scarfed at this point, so I think what I do here, I go into a Alomomola for free every single time. And I think I can just go for a flip turn versus this thing. We're slower and, like, you know, we're built to take on the Fizz walls. So this is fine. This is perfectly fine. The boulder is getting severely chipped, which is amazing for us. Yeah, I can just go for a flip turn. It'll die to poison. So this is amazing for us. I just go for a flip turn now. This is a very, very good situation for us. This is amazing for Pheasantipity as well, because this team is going to have a much harder time trying to break through Pheasantipity. Granted, the para does suck. Gouging Fire is going to be the endgame, absolutely. We're going to see a Mighty Cleave here, which is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's fine. We do pick up the KO with the Alomomola versus the Boulder, which is amazing for us. So I think here what I do now, I could honestly go into Pheasantipity. Pheasantipity here is a very good switch, I think, in my opinion. So I'm very tempted to go into Fez. I think that makes sense. I think here I could also go into Jolteon. I think Jolteon also makes sense here. I think I could also go Jack Frost. That brings in Pecharunt. I think Hawkeye is still the best switch in for me, because then I have answers for everything. And we know that Thundy is definitely not scarfed at this point, so we can always U-turn out. So I think I'm going to go into Hawkeye. If we see Grimmsnarl hit the field here, then I just immediately go Pheasantipity, and then if they want to predict that and go into Thundy or like something like that, that's fine with me. We're going to see the Thundurus actually come in, which is fine. I can U-turn on this thing. It doesn't outspeed me. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click U-turn here. We could see a knockoff from this thing, which could be a bit annoying. I don't know if I want to go into the Slowking here on a knock. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I could go Jolteon here, but I still think that Jolteon could be really, really nice in the end game. So I will go into the Redditor here and go from there. So we go into the Redditor. If I can get certain Pokemon chipped here, that should be amazing for me. We are going to see a U-turn here, so my guess is maybe the Grimmsnarl comes in, or maybe the Hisuian Samurott. I think Hisuian Samurott makes a lot of sense here, and that's fine. If it does come in, I think I can Chilly Reception out. I can do a couple of other things. I can go into a Alomomola. I think that's what I do, is I go into a Alomomola. I am expecting Hisuian Samurott to hit the field now at this point. I think that makes the most logical sense to try to set up a Ceaseless Edge. I can also go, yeah, it's just going to be Samurott. So I can also go into Torn here and just click U-turn versus this thing to get momentum back under my control. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. We could see a knockoff here. If they knock off my boots, that's fine, because they don't have a rock setter anymore. So we should be kind of chilling at this point. I really hope the Ceaseless Edge misses. That'd be best case scenario. It doesn't. They do land it. So that's going to be a bit annoying, but that's fine. I can honestly also go for a knock here at this point, although I don't know if it would KO. Let me see here. Samurott, Hisui. You're not scarfed, but assuming, yeah, knockoff won't KO, unfortunately. A U-turn does, though. So I think I do have to go for a U-turn here. And if they fire off a final Ceaseless Edge, they don't, they swap out. So again, a lot of our Pokemon are boots, so we're still doing okay. We're gonna see the Thundurus come back in. So I think here, I kind of want to play hyper aggressive and go into Jolteon and click Hyper Voice. Let's see, Jolteon. If Gouging Fire is going to be the switch in for this thing, Jolteon +1, and then if I Terra Ice, Terra Blast, it's going to do a lot of damage to that thing, and I can just severely weaken it down. So I think here, let's see, do I lose to Thundurus? Thundurus will be able to click out spam electric moves versus me, which is not ideal. I think here, let's see here, the Terra Water Jack Frost will never win me this game, I don't think, so that is something I have to keep in mind. I don't think they'll switch in Pecharunt versus the Jolteon. I think here, what I have to do, there's a number of things I could do. I think, you know what I'm going to, Hisuian Samurott's still kind of annoying. I think I'm actually going to go into the Redditor, though. The reason I'm going to go into the Redditor is because this way, if I need to, I can, I can go for a number of things here. I think I go for a Chilly Reception here on the U-turn. And if they opt to stay in, that's fine. If they go into Samurai Hisui, then I just go back into my, whatchamacallit, my Tornadus, or I could even go into Jolteon at this point and click Hyper Voice. I don't think Pecharunt will ever be the switch in against the Jolteon. And actually, if I do manage to get to +1, let's see, Pecharunt, assuming your max HP, Thunderbolt will still do the most amount of damage to this thing, and so that's not ideal. But yeah, this is fine. We're doing okay at this point. We definitely need to get a rapid spin off at some point. I'm expecting Hisuian Samurott to switch in here. That'd be my guess. Again, I apologize for the, the way I'm playing this right now. We're actually going to see the Pecharunt come in. That's fine. I'm okay with this. We prepare to tell a chillingly bad joke. That is all good with me. Now, Pecharunt versus Sandslash. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's a good play for me to make to kind of force that thing out. I think here I have to just go into... I mean, let's see here. Hold on. If I get, like, say, 4 hits with Icicle Spear, it does 26 to 32%. I don't think that's a good play here. I think I have to go, and I could go into Pheasantipity. The Iron Boulder switch is gone now, and you can't really do anything to me, so I'm going to go into this thing. You keep wanting to switch out against me, which tells me you probably just have Recover on this thing. So what I'm going to do here, I think I just go for a Heat Wave. If the Hisuian Samurott comes in, that's great. We are just going to see Malignant Chain here now, which is going to do a decent chunk of damage, but not that much. We love to see that. We can't move because we're paralyzed. That's fine. Get the hacks out of the way when they don't matter. I think that's kind of my play. I go for Heat Wave here every single time. And we are just going to see a Shadow Ball, hoping to get us the Death Drop, which does make sense here. The critical hit does suck, but thankfully we don't get the Death Drop, which is great. We go for the Heat Wave. We don't get the burn, unfortunately, but now I will go for a Roost. I do really like Pheasantipity in this game. If I can get a Roost off at this point, that would be amazing for me. And I can still use it against Grimmsnarl, which is good to know. I think this is still very valuable fodder against the Grimmsnarl. I think if they try to stay in, I think I go into like Torn. I think I go into either Torn or Jolteon. If I can get this thing in range, we are going to see the hard swap here, so I really hope we get this Roost off. That'd be phenomenal. We're going to see the Thundurus hit the field again. So this is a very, very interesting play. We do get the Roost off here. I'm very scared of a knockoff at this point. I don't want to lose my boots, especially with these hazards up. So I think what I'm going to do here, I don't know if, let's see here. I don't want to lose my hazards. So I think I do have to go into the Redditor here, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We could see a U-turn here, which would be unfortunate. We are going to go into the Redditor here. We're going to lose our spikes. Do we see a knockoff? We do see a knockoff, thank goodness for that. So now I go for a Chilly Reception here. Again, I apologize that this is how I'm playing, but this is how I have to play against this team. I could go for a Future Sight, but I just don't want that Hisuian Samurott to come in for free. We're just going to see a Thunderbolt, which is a very interesting play. And we do see that we take a lot of damage from that, which is unfortunate. But here, this gives me a very free switch into a Alolan Sandslash because Icicle Spear is extremely spammable here. And if the Pecharunt is not max HP, max defense, it's going to take a lot of damage. And nothing wants to switch in against that. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately go into a Alolan Sandslash. We should outspeed everything at this point. And I can just freely go for an Icicle Spear. It will always pretty much KO this thing, I think. And yeah, this is amazing for us. This is an amazing situation for us to be in. We are going to severely weaken something down, whether it's the Gouging Fire, the Grimmsnarl, the Pecharunt. I'm expecting the Pecharunt to come in here purely because of the fact that, you know, to prevent the hazards from being removed. Yep, that is going to be the Pecharunt. So I really hope we get some good rolls here. We're going to see 1, we're going to see 2, we're going to see just the 2. So that's fine. Okay, so now how much do I value getting... How much do I value damage on this thing, and how much do I value, let's see, we could see a Recover here. I think they do, I think they're forced to stay in here. I kind of want to go for an Iron Head to get a Flinch Hacks, so I think I'm going to do that. I don't think they're going to predict this, and if they go for the attack, then there's a good chance that I can KO this thing if I get a good enough roll with my next attack. So, and they could predict a swap here too. They could think I switch out here to save this thing, which would make a lot of sense. So this is going to be a very interesting turn. But they do have to stay in. We go for the Iron Head. Do we get the flinch? That is the question. We do get the flinch. Absolutely phenomenal for us. And now I think I just go for the KO with Icicle Spear. So hopefully this thing will die. If we get the maximum 5, I think this thing might die. 3, we see 4. Do we pick up the KO here? Nope, that is a 4-time hit. That is unfortunate. And we do see that their final move is in fact Recover. Not the best situation for me. The Pecharunt is always going to be the switch here, so I think what I do, I think I just go into Pheasantipity here. Pheasantipity is always going to be the swap. against this Pokemon. Very unfortunate that we didn't get that roll. I think if we got that roll, I think if we got the 5, I think this thing would be a dead Pecharunt, and then we could get these hazards off the field. We're going to see a Shadow Ball, that's fine. I think here what I do, I go for a Roost, just to make sure that this thing can't continue to chip me down. I think that's what I do here. It's a bit obvious, and I don't like it, but yeah, I was thinking that they're going to stay in with this Pokemon. They're going to fire up another Shadow Ball. That does make sense. We do see this Bidef drop, which is a very unfortunate turn here. So I am going to go for the Roost. They could predict me to swap. I'm worried that they go for a Toxic. So I think here what I do, I think I go into Jack Frost now. I can still play this way because I did bring the boots on a lot of my Pokemon, specifically because I was afraid of this type of situation happening where I couldn't Rapid Spin against the Pecharunt. We do see the Malignant Chain here, which does make sense. That is fine by me. And now I think I just go into... they could double here. They could double into like the Grimmsnarl or the Samurott. I think I just go back into Prince. Prince is always going to be my answer into this thing to whittle this thing down, as much as I hate doing that. It is what it is. Again, like, at some point, I do need to get Jolteon in to try and just take this thing out. If we can burn this thing, that would be phenomenal. So I am going to go for a Heat Wave to try to burn this thing at this point. It will go for the burn. And if anything else wants to switch in against this, there's a chance that it gets burned or poisoned, which would both be phenomenal here. This Pecharunt is definitely going to be very annoying. I kind of wish I had better answers into it. I kind of wish maybe I had Earthquake instead of Terra Blast on the Sand Slash, but it is what it is. We are going to see a Shadow Ball here, which does a decent chunk of damage. We go for the Heat Wave. I really hope we see a burn here. That'd be phenomenal. We don't get the burn, but that's fine. We are going to see that they stay in and click Shadow Ball. If we can weaken this, if we can get this thing's Shadow Balls out of the way, that would be phenomenal for me. We get this Bidef drop again, which is definitely not good, and we get paralyzed. That is the worst case scenario for me right now. I think here, I think they'd have to go for another Shadow Ball. I think I'm going to go into Hawkeye. This time, I don't know how I feel about this play, because if they go for anything here, then that's going to suck. The Pecharunt, yeah, I think this is my best case scenario. Yeah, we see a Shadow Ball here. Alright, so yeah, we see a Shadow Ball, that's fine, that does a decent chunk of damage. I go for U-turn here now, every single time. Yep, I go for U-turn, boom, does a decent chunk of damage. Now, I don't know if they go for Shadow Ball. I think they will go for Shadow Ball here if I had to guess, so that's going to be a bit annoying if they do. I think maybe now I have to go Jolteon just to threaten this thing out. I could do that, and I think... I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to take damage on Jolteon. I'm pretty sure this is more bulkier set. I think I do just need to go Jolteon just to go more hyper-aggressive. And yeah, Malignant Chain is going to do a decent chunk of damage, but I don't think they're going to go for that here. I think they're going to go for the Shadow Ball. They just go for Toxic. Not great. We are going to get poisoned here, and we're going to get Poison Puppeteered, which is not fun. I'm not a big fan of that. I did not think they were going to go for Toxic here. That was the last move I thought they were going to go for. So that's great. Frick. Okay. So Jolteon's going to get poisoned. That's not ideal. This Pecharunt's going to be the death of me, and I know that. I think they have to go for Shadow Ball again. I think here what I have to do, I have to go into Purple Rain, and then just absorb this hit. I don't know. My team is getting weakened down slowly but surely because of this Pecharunt. This Pecharunt is definitely very annoying. We're getting haxed out, and it's not great. So we're going to take more damage from the spikes, which is not good. We're going to see the swap, actually. We're going to finally see the swap. Very interesting that they swapped there, and we're going to see Grimmsnarl come back in. So that's an interesting swap. If Purple Rain gets paralyzed, is that the worst thing in the world? Not really. I don't want it to get paralyzed. I think, though, I think my smart move is to go for Wish here. So I will go for Wish. We also outspeed this thing naturally, which is interesting. So they're going for an attack. Unless they use Throat Chop. That's fine. Okay. I will go for a Flip Turn here. No, I think, you know what? I think I'll actually hard swap into Pheasantipity here. I think that's my correct play. My correct play here is to hard swap into Pheasantipity. This thing can't KO me with anything. It won't be able to do much damage to me, and then I can just fire off a Moonblast, or I can fire off a Heat Wave. I can fire off... I think here I'll probably fire off a Moonblast. We're going to go into Prince here. The Alumamola is going to get some more recovery, which is great. Thunder Wave, yep, that's why I wanted to swap into this thing, and now we are going to get that HP back, which is phenomenal. Now, I think what I do, I think I just go for Moonblast here. I think that's just my play, because, yeah, I think that's just my play. Again, being paralyzed here is not fun, but yeah, I'm just going to go for Moonblast here. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to attack what's in front of me. We are going to see that the hard swap here. Grimmsnarl is no longer in range of a Moonblast, which is unfortunate. We are going to see the Pecharunt come in here, which does make sense to try to weaken this thing down. If we could get a special attack drop, that'd be phenomenal here. Let's see, do we get this attack drop? We do get this attack drop. That's phenomenal. So now I just go for a Heat Wave for free at this point. And there's not much that my opponent can do about that. We are going to see the hard swap, which does make sense. I'm curious to see if Gouging Fire comes in here. It's going to be the Thunderous, actually. Thunderous is going to come in here. Again, I don't want to lose my boots here, so I think what I'm going to do, I think I am forced to switch out. I'm hoping to see a burn. We don't see a burn or a poison, which is unfortunate. I think here, I think we have to see a knockoff here. I don't want to go into the Redditor because we're going to take a lot of damage, but I think I kind of have to, so I think I will go into the Redditor. And we're gonna see what they go for here. I think they have to go for knockoff. If they go for a U-turn, that's fine. Not ideal because obviously Hisuian and Samurott, but yeah, we do see a U-turn well played. Okay, so the Hisuian and Samurott's gonna be annoying to deal with now. I think what I have to do here, yeah, we see Samurott come in, so that's not great. Again, I really wish I had hazards at this point, because then I could severely punish this thing. I'm going to go into Hawkeye. I click U-turn every single time, because I can and I want to. I think here, no, I think actually this time I'm going to click Knock, assuming that they, unless they let this thing go down. But I think I'm going to click Knock on the possible switch. We are just going to see a knock off themselves. They're going to knock off our boots. So just to prevent them from getting a hazards up, I will go for a U-turn myself. This will KO the Samurott, and this will do chip against everything else. We're probably going to see the Pecharunt come in if I had to guess. And I think maybe now I will hyper-aggressive. No, we're going to see Thunderous, actually, which is a very interesting swap here. Very curious about that swap. I think now I will go aggressive, and I will go Jolteon here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because, let's see, Thunderous, Therian, let's see here. Hyper Voice does not KO me, but I think I'm still going to make this play. We're going to take a lot of chip, but I do kind of, I think it's smart for me to burn this at this point. Just to get some momentum on our side. Again, the poison does suck here, but that's fine. I don't know if they're going to predict a swap here, but a knockoff's not going to do that much damage to me. I am going to click Hyper Voice here, just to get that Throat Spray boost and threaten anything out at this point. Literally everything gets threatened out. We're going to see the Hyper Voice, that's fine. We get the crit, which is phenomenal here. We are going to activate our Throat Spray. We're probably going to see a knockoff here if I had to guess. I think I will save my Terra, because my Terra's only really good on Jolteon. We're going to take a lot of chip here, but now something in here is going to take a lot of damage. And the Thunderous is severely chipped. If it goes up against the Tornadus, it's not going to be able to KO me, which is great. Let's see here. And also, we still have our knockoff, so that's great. I think I might still want to save Jolteon here. I think if we see like Pecharunt or something like that, I don't know, we're going to see Samurott come in. That's fine. So I will go ahead. It could be Aqua Jet here. Let's see, Samurott, Hisui. Is it Aqua Jet? It probably is, and if it is, it KOs me here. So I think what I'm going to do, I will go ahead and swap into... I could swap into Hawkeye. I think... Do I still value Jolteon in this game? I think... They could also be calling my bluff. They could also be calling my bluff here. I think we're going to Volt Switch just to make sure they don't get a Ceaseless Edge off. If they go... okay, we do see a Sucker Punch. Good play. Really good play. So Jolteon is going to go down here, but now Torn is very free here. I can just click... I can click Knock. I can click a bunch of things here. So I am going to go into my Hawkeye. I think here I will go ahead and click Knock. We could see the Thundy come in. I don't think this thing is going to stay in versus me, so I will click Knock here. If they stay in, then that's really well played. Nope, they don't stay in. They switch out here, so I'm expecting maybe the Pecharunt to come in. We're going to see Grimmsnarl come in, actually, so that's fine. I'm okay with Grimmsnarl coming in here. That's okay. So we're going to fire up a knockoff here. Does a decent chunk of damage, and we're going to see that this thing's item is leftovers. So this thing's leftovers is gone and no longer has any form of recovery. I'm going to go immediately into Prince, and that is that. We could see a Parting Shot here. If they go for Parting Shot, that's fine. Again, I just keep trying to chip down the Pecharunt as much as I can. That is kind of the main goal of this game at this point. We also need hazards gone as soon as possible. If we can get this thing in range of Pecharunt, then that's phenomenal. We might see a Thunderous come in. We are going to see the Thunderous come in. They're going to fire off a knockoff, I am sure. If they fire off a T-Bolt, that's really well played. I do still like having my item, though, so I think what I'm going to do here, I don't think Thunderous can ever KO me, so Thunderous, Therian, assuming that it can't KO me, it can possibly KO me with a Thunderbolt. So do I take that risk? I don't know. Let's see, I do also really like Purple Rain here. I do also, this is my best way to take care of that. I really think a knockoff is coming off here, so I think I'm going to go into Hawkeye. If they do go for a T-ball, that's going to do a lot of damage, and probably pick up the KO, but I don't think they're going to do that here. I think that'd be very risky of them to do that. They are going to go for knockoff, so that does make sense. Okay, so here I just go for a knockoff of my own every single time. That is, yeah, they're going to see the hard swap. They have momentum right now, which is not great. We're going to see the Grimmsnarl come back in, which is fine. So, yeah, they're going to try to get rid of my boots. That's their goal right now, is they're trying to get rid of my boots. This time, I think I will go Alomomola. We get the crit, which is great. I think this time I have to go Alomomola. I could also go into the Redditor, but I don't think I do that here. I think this time I go into Alomomola. And, I go with that. If they don't hard swap here, which is great, we could see a Thunder Wave here, so that's not going to be ideal. It's very spammable against me at this point. We are going to see that we're hurt by the spikes, which is not fun. We are going to see the hard swap. They're probably going to go into Thundy here if I had to guess. Is it Thundy? It is going to be Thundy. That does make sense. I think this time they are going to go for the Thunderbolts. I think that is their play every single time here. I could go into Jack Frost, but I don't do that. I think I just go for a flip turn. And then, yeah, we see the Thunderbolt. That's fine. Okay. So they go for T-Bolt. Not fun, not a good time. Alomomola going down here is not a good situation for me. I could go into the Redditor here, but I don't think I do that. I could immediately just threaten this thing out and go into Jack Frost. Let's see, Petrons versus Jack Frost. Let's see, if I Terra Water, Terra Blast does only like 20 to 24%. So I think here I have to go into Hawkeye. And while there's a lot of things that look incredibly obvious here, I think here, I don't know if I want a Bleak Wind, but I think I do want a Heat Wave, and if we miss, we lose the game. That's kind of what it comes down to. Yeah, we are going to see the swap here. I'm hoping to see probably the Grimmsnarl come in if I had to guess. We are going to see the Grimmsnarl come in. That's fine by me. We could see a T-Wave here, which could be annoying. We do land our Heat Wave, which is great. Do we get the burn? We don't get the burn, which is unfortunate. I think here I am forced to go into Prince. If they go into Thundy here, then it is what it is. I just cannot risk my Thundy getting paralyzed here, so I have to go into the Prince. I'm fully expecting them to swap out into Thundy. No, they actually go for T-Wave. That's amazing for us. So that's best case scenario. I go for Moonblast here every single time. It KOs Grimmsnarl, it KOs Thundy. It'll do damage against Petrons. It'll KO Samurott, and it'll do damage against Gouging. So this is a great situation for me. They are going to swap. I really need to not get paralyzed here. We're going to see the Petron come in. That's fine by me. If we get a Spatak drop, that's phenomenal here. We do get the Moonblast off, boom, and now we're back here. So this is an okay situation. We do get the Spatak drop. I do think they're going to switch out here, so I will click U-turn here, and I really hope we get this read right. That would be absolutely outstanding for me if we get this read, and that would do wonders for us. And even then, like, we're in a commanding position by this point. We are going to see a Shadow Ball here, which is fine. That is fine by me. We do get the U-turn off, which is decent enough. And I think here, I could go into Sand Slash here. I don't think I do that. I think I go into the Redditor here. We're going to take some damage, unfortunately, from the hazards, but that's fine. I don't know if it'll be able to KO me. Let's see, I'm at 164. So if I'm at 164, let's see, 164 versus Petront, Shadow Ball, I'm at 42%, so Shadow Ball does 36 to 43%. If, yeah, so it just does too much damage, I think. I think I have to go, let's see, the question is, do you go for it, though? I think that's the question. And also, I could Psychic Noise here. If I live, I Psychic Noise. Yeah, I Psychic Noise here. I think I have to play aggressive at this point. We are going to see the Shadow Ball. Please live, Slowking. I need you to live. You do live. Thank you so much. We fire off. That's fine. This Def Drop is fine. We fire off the Psychic Noise. That's fine. You cannot heal versus me now. That's phenomenal for us. So now I can just immediately go. I can swap out here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. We do see the Payapa Berry. I think I could go Prince, and I think that's what I'm going to do, just to get some more control over the battlefield and get some my HP back up, which is great. This is a great situation for us. We are going to see the hard swap here, so Alolan Sandslash will be able to come in now. We're going to see Thundy come in on this. That's fine. I'm okay with this. I think at this point I just need to let the knockoff happen. unfortunately, just so that way this Thundy can stay off the field. And if they go for Thunderbolt here, predicting a swap, then that's phenomenal for me. I go for a Moonblast here every single time. The Pecharunt is severely weakened, which is great. I guess I should have clicked U-turn here. I think that would have been my smarter play. We see a U-turn here, though. They definitely thought we were going to swap, so this is great for us. Oh, no, a critical hit. Ow, that hurt so bad. That hurt so bad. It hurt so good. Okay, yeah, but yeah, Slowking, if we can get, if we can get hazards off the field, that's amazing for me. We're gonna see the Pecharunt come in, that's fine. If we can get his attack drop, that's great. They're definitely going to go for a recover here. Yeah, they have to go for a recover here at this point. I think I'm just gonna go for a Heat Wave and try to burn, so that way we can get some chip. This is phenomenal for us. We also burned the Pitaya Berry. I do kind of wish we got that knocked off, but it's fine. It is what it is. We miss our Heat Wave, which is unfortunate. I'm just clicking it again. I do not care. You cannot switch in against it. So, yeah, I just do this. If we see another Shadow Ball, we're going to go back and forth. This is going to be another very long back and forth game, unfortunately. We do land the Heat Wave this time. Please tell me we get the burn. That'd be phenomenal here. We don't get the burn. Unfortunate. I go for Roost. So, yeah, we're just going to go back and forth for a little while. I'm hoping to eventually see them run out of Shadow Balls, because that means that we can switch in the Galarian Slowking for free, and also the Alolan Slash, too. Like, both of those mons can come in for free, so we just need them to weaken down their Shadow Ball usage. They've used a lot so far. I think Shadow Ball, if I remember correctly, has like 16 PP, I think, as my guess. So we're just going to continue seeing Shadow Balls. If we can get a burn, that's phenomenal here. We do get the Spadef drop, which is unfortunate. They've gotten a lot of Spadef drops, and they've also gotten a lot of Paras, which is very annoying, I will say. That's very, very annoying that we're getting hacked to death. It is 24 PP, so I think I have to switch out here. I will go into Jack Frost now, though. I think I'm hoping to see them go for the poison. I'm hoping to see them go for a poison move. That is my assumption here. I think they're going to go for a poison move to try to preserve. Yeah, they do go for the poison move. That does make sense. This is fine. I could go into the Redditor here. They can only attack me with Shadow Ball. I think I'm going to actually go Hawkeye. I will go Hawkeye here. We are going to see the hard swap, so that's fine. That is fine by me. I really wish I went for the U-turn now, but we're going to see Thundy hit the field. That's fine. Grimmsnarl could come in here. I think here I just go for another Heat Wave. I think that Heat Wave is a very free button click here. The Grimmsnarl is probably what's going to come in here. A U-turn does not KO this thing, unfortunately. So I think here what I do, I think I'm just going to go for Heat Wave. If they opt to stay in, they don't. Obviously, they want to save this thing. I think Grimmsnarl comes in here every single time. Grimmsnarl is going to be the switch in every single time, which is not ideal. Please land this Heat Wave. You missed your Heat Wave. You had one freaking job, dude. I'm so annoyed. This game has definitely... Hacks-wise, this game has been horrible for me, for the record. Hacks-wise, this game has been absolutely abhorrent. And I am very upset about it. This is definitely extremely upsetting how bad my luck has been in this game. We are going to see a Thunder Wave, thank God for that. Okay, now I just go for Moonblast here every single time again. If the Pecharunt comes in, fine, I'm okay with it. We are going to see the swap here. We're probably going to see the Pecharunt come in. Yeah, we just see the Pecharunt. This is annoying. I'm definitely annoyed at this whole situation. We're gonna go for Moonblast. Boom. Yay. Good damage. Yay. Wonderful. Perfect. Alright, I go for Roost. This is fine. They're just gonna keep spamming Shadow Ball. I kinda wish I was keeping track of Shadow Balls now, but it's fine. We don't get the next Spadef drop, which is nice. Very, very nice. I'm just gonna spam Heat Wave now at this point, just so that way I can hopefully catch something on a burn. We're just going to continue seeing Shadow Ball, which is very annoying. And a crit, dude. Oh my god, my hack, what is my luck this game, dude? What is my luck? This is genuinely some of the most upsetting. This is genuinely upsetting. I'm genuinely really upset by this situation right now. Please, okay, my god, you keep getting Spadef drops, man. Can you, oh my god, this is so dumb, dude. I'm genuinely so mad. God, what do I do? What do I do here? I can't do anything against that. I think I just have to go Jack Frost here, dude. I'm genuinely really annoyed right now. I'm genuinely really annoyed. We're gonna send Jack Frost here. This is rough, dude. This is rough. Yeah, and now they fire off the Shadow Ball. Yeah, and we're gonna take some damage from that. Spadef fell. Yeah. And now I have to switch out, and now they're probably going to go for the poison move. You know what? Frick it, I'm going to say you go for the poison move, because you want to catch Torn on a switch. I can't do anything against this, dude. Like, I can't do anything against hacks. That's the most annoying part about this, is I'm getting hacked to death. The paralyzed, crits, the Spadef drops, and, like, not one burn on this Pecharunt. Not one singular burn on this Pecharunt, dude. It's so annoying. I'm genuinely getting really annoyed by this whole situation. Please show me a freaking poison move. That would be amazing here. Thank you. All right, we get the Toxic. That's great. Now I'm going to go into Torn to get some more recovery on the Redditor. So that way we can tank. Yeah, okay, so we are going to see the double here. That's fine. I'm okay with that. They think I'm Spadef, but they think I'm Spadef. Samurai comes in here. I click U-turn every single time. I am okay with this. This is fine. Okay. This is comebackable. This is comebackable at this point. So we're going to go into Hawkeye here. This is fine. If they go for Sucker, this thing dies, which is great. I go for U-turn every single time just to get rid of this thing. Finally, that'd be amazing here. We are going to see the swap. They do still heavily value this thing. We're going to see the Grimmsnarl come back in. That's fine. More chip on this, the better. I really wish I brought Hazard for this game now. That's a lot of damage. This thing dies next time it gets hit with a U-turn, which is amazing for us. I think here, I don't want to go into Jack Frost here. I think I have to go into Prince, and I have to click Roost, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Or honestly, no, I don't even need to click Roost, but I think if they stay in, then I kind of have to, so I will go for the Roost here. Yeah, we just see the hard swap. Probably Thundy is coming in and click knockoff, which is, it is what it is. We're gonna see Samurai, so they're actually gonna try to get their final hazard up on the field. We do fire off the Roost, and we are successful in getting that Roost off, thank God. So I think here what I do, I could go for a U-turn here, but I don't want to risk getting parried and just hacked to death on top of that. So I think here I'm going to go into Hawkeye, just to scare this thing out. Grimmsnarl is no longer a swap, which is great for me. And, yeah, we're going to go into Hawkeye here. A lot of my opponent's Pokemon are in the red at this point. We are just going to see a flip turn. Very well played. We're probably going to see the Grimmsnarl come in. That would be my guess. And I think, I can't risk this thing getting parried. That's the thing. I can't risk this thing getting parried. They have to go into Grimmsnarl here because they outspeed. They can't go into anything else at this point. They could go Pecharunt, but then that just gives me a free U-turn. They have to go Grimmsnarl here. The question now becomes, do I predict them to go for T-Wave? I think I have to. Pheasantipity is also like, oh, they see, oh, okay, this is new. So we see Gouging Fire hit the field versus this thing. So, okay, this is an interesting situation. So we're going to see Gouging Fire. This is new. Already this is new, and I am okay with this. This is fine. I think here, I could click Knock. I think that's what I do. We could see a DD. I think I'm just going to click Knock. We're going to knock off whatever item you are. My guess is maybe like lefties or something like that. Lum, that's fine. Okay. So we knock off your Lum. We're going to see the Dragon Dance pop off, and yeah, you're going to start trying to outspeed me and sweep me. Let's see. Is there anything I can do against that? No, I think, honestly, yeah, I think I might just lose now, unfortunately. I think now I just lose. I'm just going to go for a Bleak Wind and just hope I land. That'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we do still outspeed this thing, which is crazy as well. So yeah, we're gonna just chip away at you. We're gonna force you. Yeah, you're gonna keep Dragon Dancing. So you're currently at +1. If you have Morning Sun, you have it, and it's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for this. We miss our Bleak Wind Storms because of course we do. Why wouldn't we? I'm genuinely really annoyed at how much hacks have gone against us this entire game. I'm genuinely really annoyed. This is rough. That's all I can say. It is what it is. At this point, I'm not making the playoffs at this point. So, which, yeah, it is what it is. I've lost 6-0 in one game. I'm going to lose 5-0 another game. Yeah, and you have Morning Sun. Yeah, it's over. Man, I'm really annoyed at this game, dude. Serious. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna finish out this game. But my God, there's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can do. I'm genuinely so annoyed that this is how this game went. This is the stupidest. This is the most hacked I've been in a very long time. I am perfectly confident in saying that I got hacked to death in this game, and that is really annoying. That is genuinely really, really annoying that I got hacked as much as I did. I'm probably gonna, even if I live here, I'm gonna get paralyzed. I guarantee it. So, and they have Earthquake anyway, so I die. Yeah, GG's. Well played to my opponent. Yeah, it is what it is. Even if we make playoffs, like, there's no way we can make enough points to make it to the second, like, to the final round. So I'm gonna go for it just because I can, but there's literally no point in doing so. I just lose this every single time. GG's to my opponent, really well played. I'm gonna go ahead and let the rest of this play out, and yeah, I think this is the final battle that I will be uploading as well. I'm gonna go ahead and double check that while this is playing, so because I know for a fact this is after the week 3 game, which went so bad for me. We're gonna see an EQ that probably KOs me from this range. Yep, it does. Yeah, GG's. Yeah. Because I took over the team that had no wins last time, this just guarantees that I don't make it in, which is fine. I just wish I put up a better fight. The 5-0 is not, like, it doesn't show how truly close this battle was. It really doesn't show how truly close this battle was, dude. And I think that's what annoys me the most about this particular game, is just literally, like, this game could have been so much closer if some more hacks had gone my way. It is what it is. GG's to my opponent. This is the last game. I'm sorry to end this off on a bad note, but yeah. At the very least, I'm not going to worry about this that much anymore. It is what it is, but yeah, GG's, well played to my opponent, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please make sure to check out all my opponents down in the description below, and go show them all the love and support, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I still don't know fully how I'm going to edit this down. I don't know if I'm just going to upload this flat battle, one each day, or if I'm going to do a movie like I've seen other people do. We'll see. And that's all she wrote for ya boy. While going 2 out of 3 isn't the best, it's certainly not the worst. Unfortunately, due to the previous coach I took over for having a very rough stage 1, it's essentially impossible for me to make it to the top 16 coaches, meaning I won't be moving on to stage 3. There will be at least one more video of the PPL NX coming out as everybody makes playoffs in this tournament, so if you want to see how far we go in the bronze tier, then be sure to stay tuned for those videos coming out in the next couple of weeks. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this very long video here. Thank you all so sincerely much for watching this video. Once again, please be sure to check out my opponents and their side of our battles, linked down below, as well as the head of the tournament, Amber's channel, and Glitchx City's channel for the music. If this video does well, perhaps I'll make more like it in the future. If y'all would like to see that and enjoyed this journey, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see all you soon in the next video. Sleep well, and peace out, mates.